Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to HP to XP. I am Chris, the Dungeon Master for our Adventures in Umbranthal campaign. Before we jump into our story tonight, I do have a couple of announcements. First, if you have not yet, be sure you check out our Monday chat show, Keeps in Conversations. Our very own Alta Mirage talks with our cast and takes your questions about D&D, our game, and more. You can watch Keeps every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, here on Twitch. Second, be sure you join our Discord community. Our cast is not in chat during our game, but we all hang out in our Discord. So if you want to be a part of the conversation and the community, you can use the links in chat and our information to join in. Lastly, if you miss any of our campaign stream live, do check out the VODs over on YouTube. We also post exclusive content there on world building, roleplay, character creation, and more. While you're there, subscribe to be notified when we drop new content. But for now, the adventure begins. Welcome to Umbranthal.
Journey to Umbranthal is produced for mature audiences. The topics and roleplay may be challenging, including instances of violence, power, and race. Our chat and comment sections are a place to respectfully engage with these topics and offer us your feedback.
Having escaped down the mountains after rescuing Rice and Anara, the party took their long rest in a ditch running through farm fields. There, they were discovered by a group of children who were convinced to keep the party's whereabouts quiet with the offer of gold. Setting out in the late afternoon, our adventurers stalked through the wooded foothills, heading east. Coming upon a road through the woods, they found they were near the jeweler's mine. Through Bubo's eyes, Anara saw there were several carts being loaded for travel. The party gave the area a wide berth and moved stealthily further on. Moving through the night, they found themselves set upon by a revenant, an undead beast who in life had been Mordir, the jeweler's foreman, and the group's escort. Sworn to vengeance, the revenant attacked Rice, landing powerful fist attacks before being beaten. However, Aziris did let it be known that the creature would continue to hunt Rice, simply taking on a new form. Recovering quickly, they continued their nighttime movement. Outside a cave mouth, they found themselves in a battle with several undead who had been feeding on a corpse. The body was that of a young elven woman with faintly drow features, whose belongings included gold, one half of a pair of sending stones, and the iconography of House Ulston, the leading house of the drow. Gathering these items, the party moved quickly away from the site of this encounter. Storm clouds filled the front range, and rain began to pour. Thunder rolled, and a flash of lightning illuminated the landscape. A tree, struck by the bolt, shattered. A moment that left Cloud feeling touched by the universe and acutely aware of their connection with this chaotic energy. The party chose to seek shelter in a small cave. Secure on three sides and relatively dry, Aziris cast an alarm spell to secure the front of the cave. Taking watch, the group took stock of the events of the past 24 hours and explored the tablets Cloud had taken from the library in Mysa. Hearing more of Moradin, the dwarf god of creation, mentioned in her mother's letter, Maple whittled an offering and asked for Moradin's intercession. At this, she felt a divine energy wash over her, and a voice in her head said, "Go north." You've all completed your long rest. Fen, having taken your bearings, you know Seva lies roughly a half day's travel east and just a bit to the south. Casina lies roughly 2.5 days away from there if you follow the road. What would you all like to do?
Finn would like to talk to the group. And so, well, y'all, I think we got a decision to make. I got something else to mention as well, but if the creek don't rise, we should be able to get to Siva in like half a day. And if we want to go on the road to get to Casino, it'll be about a 2-day trip, and it'll be on a road that's well traveled. If we need to, we can still travel through the woods, but just to let you know that that's going to take probably 3 or 4 days. So I think it matters whether we want to stay hidden or whether we want to be fast. So that's the first thing I have to say. The other part is just, have any of y'all been to the Commonwealth before?
Why, yes, I have.
Yes.
This is my first time out of the mountain.
Yeah, I don't think so, bud.
Okay, so Rice, you've been to the Commonwealth before?
That's right.
I think Rice and Azira said yes.
Okay, well, you know, when we get to Casino, it's a walled city, so it's a big city. And before we get there, though, we're gonna be about 300 or so feet before you get there. There's gonna be a guard post, and they're gonna want to make sure we're not causing no trouble or anything. And from the looks of us, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a human area. So for Aziris and Anar and Rias, they're probably going to ask you some tough questions and be suspicious at first. Now, I think if we explain that we're just coming through, we should be fine. And I think we need to definitely take that approach, because we're running out of places to go. This started off as some way to try to get a job, and now we're in a situation where apparently we're having to flee the drow. We got that asshole jeweler who, he thinks the sun comes up just to hear him crow, and so I'm just hoping that. I just wanted to say that there might be some tough questions, but let's try to play it cool.
I have a question for those of you who have been there. Do we have like friends or allies of yours that are there?
Definitely not, no.
Okay.
What is it that you think that me and Aziris did, Cloud?
Okay. I don't want to know. It's just all right. DM question.
Yes.
Do we feel like we're still being followed by drow? I guess I don't really know how to ask that question. Or maybe that's to the party. Like if there's a way to tell.
You can certainly have that conversation, and if there are specific questions you want to ask, I can either have you roll or answer them directly.
I guess I'll throw it out to the party. I don't know. Is there like a way to tell, or?
Well, if they think that they killed me, like I hope they do, then I'm thinking the chances of them following us might be a little bit slimmer.
Quick question on that. It seemed like they want you alive and then they killed you. You don't have to answer, but that seems off.
Not quite sure what their purposes were, but personally, I'd rather them think that I'm dead.
That's a good idea.
You know what, bud? I'm pretty sure if you really stuffed yourself in there, I could fit you in the bag on my back. But that's up to you.
We'll see what comes up.
I'm going to say that's going to look a bit suspicious when we try to go in town and we have a drow stowed away in the back in the bag hidden. I appreciate that, Maple, but I'm a little worried about appearances.
Well, when we do go through the gates and into Casino, I can change how I look. I don't have to look like a drow, like a true elf.
That's right.
I think once we get into town, we'll probably be all right. I just think that they're going to interrogate us when we go in there, and considering that it's going to be tough to get stay in the Politia, we got to worry about other folks. It's probably in our best interest, not to be too testy or Aziris. I appreciate your non-violent approach, but we probably shouldn't mention trying to befriend kobolds or things to them, because they'll probably be worried about it. So it's just I've gone back and forth, and I know they always look at me a little odd, even though there's a number of my people living and working in those conditions. But I just wanted to raise that for y'all.
I have no doubt that me and Aziris will be welcomed with open arms by the community because of how diverse the Commonwealth is and how forward-thinking they are with their trade laws and such.
Oh, bud, you know, I will be the first to say that I will be absolutely willing to make sure everybody knows how absolutely, absolutely wonderful you guys are. You know, you definitely deserve it. Also, side thing, Anara, I'm definitely excited to see what kind of a costume you pull out. You know, I'm sure you're going to look absolutely wonderful. But I have a quick question for the group. Is the Commonwealth up north or no?
It's heading that direction. We're going to be heading east and up towards the north a little bit. So yes, it's somewhat.
Okay, cool. So I actually told Claude this last night when we were on our watch, but I might have left a little something for Moradin, who's on one of the notes that Claude ever so nicely read for me. And I heard a little voice in my head for the first time, not like the most. This is definitely not like that. That was the other thing. But it told me to go north. Isn't that nice? We have directions. I don't know exactly where they're coming from, but I seem to be doing a good job. So I just wanted to show everybody, you know, that I'm contributing to the cause. So thank you for your applause in advance.
It's great, Maple.
She's beaming. She's very excited about this.
Well, I guess that's a good thing. And Rice, I understand your concerns about the Commonwealth. I know they don't have any love for me, and I don't really have much love for them either. Although not all humans are bad, and not all humans are good. But we'll just see. They might test you, and so you know, we don't know the situation. Maybe one of the gods has been attacked by a drow or an orc before, or a wood elf, and so we don't know. And so but that said, y'all want to hit the road and make it quick and try to move with speed, or do y'all want to stick to the woods and try to sneak around, but not knowing what's in there?
My thought is this. Since I'm sure that I'm probably not the only one who needs to restock some supplies, how about we stop off in Seva just long enough to get some supplies, maybe grab a bite to eat, and then head up the road towards Casina. We can use Bubo as like our forward warning system, and if we see anything on the road, we can ditch off into the side and do some hiding and stealth if we need to.
I'm open to either, but my preference is road.
Yeah, you know what, buds? I'm pretty much an absolute not good use in either thing. So my feet move just as hard in the woods on stones and sticks as they do on gravel. So I think either one would be a good option for me.
I think it would be less suspicious if we went on the road now that we have some distance. I think the road is a good idea.
Agreed.
So, I'll go ahead and be the bearer of bad news. However, the reach of the true elves does extend beyond the edge of the Commonwealth, and also, if we do head into town, we're endangering the entire town for harboring us.
Who wants to stay the night?
The true elves would have absolutely no problem burning the town down for us to make us easier to kill, because that is what I would do. That's how I know.
The bonus to going to Casina is they won't be looking for us there.
Okay, so maybe we skip Seva.
We can get around Seva and still try to hide on go on the road. I think it's a matter, and I can understand both. There's 3 or 4 days going through the woods and hoping we don't encounter them if they're looking for us, or we go on the road in 2 days. It's speed versus stealth, I guess, in a way. Each has their ups and downs.
We did speed already, or did stealth already. Right, you had something?
I was going to say that at this point it doesn't matter if we have stealth. There appears to be quite a few different things that are slowing down the Drow's pursuit of us. these elements of unexplained undead, for instance. So, I think speed is more important at this point. We're not going to avoid them or lose them in their pursuit. I think that's foolish, especially if we're carrying around this sending stone.
Should we try that, by the way?
I think it would be funny. However, if we did try it, I think we ditch it afterward because it's particularly easy to track. And if
Maybe
we have
try
anything,
Oh, so go ahead.
if we have anything else from the same person, that would be probably fairly easy to track as well.
So I'm advocating on behalf of curiosity. I think that we should try it now while we have all of our spell slots. And then if it's bad, we leave it behind.
Well, I don't know much about those kind of things, but it's not, if we use that, is it going to let them know that Anara's alive?
Why not have me say something?
Or maybe like somebody they haven't heard talk. The
Not
Xeris, I
everyone.
feel like they haven't heard the Xeris.
Not everyone has heard me talk, and
Oh.
I know what to say.
Okay.
I hand the
Anara-
stone
Is
over.
that all?
Yeah. I was
That's
thinking-
all? We're agreeing to my plan for once? Interesting. Okay.
I mean, sure, give it a go there, bud.
If you're curious enough, go for it.
It's too bad we can't like turn on some kind of speaker to like it's gonna be in your head and
Well,
um,
let me just Bluetooth it real quick.
just
okay.
Anara hands the sending stone over to Rice.
All right. Rice is going to hold the sending stone. In this DM question, this
Mhm.
allows me to use the sending spell, correct? Which is
Yep.
25
So you get
words?
25 words.
25.
Okay. All right. Give me half an hour to think of a good thing to say, and then I'll say it and we'll ditch the stone if nothing good comes of it. How about that?
Okay, your half hour has
Why not?
elapsed. Go ahead.
we're walking at this point.
Yeah, bud, I thought you had something good to say already. That's why we gave you the stone.
It's better to go in with a, at least something a little bit more developed than my half-assed idea, which everyone agreed to, even though it's probably the worst idea that I've had. I'm not trying to talk you out of my idea now, but I'm just saying that at this point, I've had really good ideas, and this is the worst, and this is the one you've instantly agreed to. So I'm not confident about your decision-making abilities anymore. That's all.
Well,
I'm
Boy,
We all get
know-
to make bad decisions. This is an equal opportunity.
but I'm not trying to knock your past decisions, But I mean, out of all the thoughts you've had, I'm not trying to throw you under the cart or anything, but none of those things stopped you from being kidnapped. So I would think, pretty long and hard about what you're gonna say, because I'm not good at being chased. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, I am good at an arm wrestle, but tag was never my game.
So,
But as long as you're comfortable, Russ.
right.
So are we going to
I-
move for a while
I
while
think most votes were for the road. so
Rice
Yeah.
thinks about this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you do have a little ways to go to get to the road. Setting off once more, you are sort of continuing through the foothills. It is about 3 p.m. or so when you're finishing your short rest. So you want to use basically the time from now until dark to get to Casino or to Seva. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page before I start.
I don't know if I understood that correctly. Short rest? Didn't we just finish a long rest?
If I said short rest, I was wrong. Yes, you just finished a
Okay.
long rest. I misspoke. So thank you for clarifying. Yes, so it is about 3 p.m. You sheltered and took your long rest during the morning and into the early afternoon. So you are going to wend your way towards Seva to pick up the road. Is that?
Question for DM.
Yeah.
Would Rice know anyone in particular that has worked for House Uliston for the patrols? Would he know of anybody from the academy or?
No, you wouldn't. It would be a station far above where you were at. So
Okay.
yeah, that would be, given your parentage, that would definitely be a level of access that you were not granted.
Okay.
So, all right.
Back to the yarn board.
All right. So as you set off, continuing through the foothills, you are making your way both south and eastward here. The woods are still very pockmarked with cave mouths and the upheaval of earth, but definitely less rockfall than what you were dealing with further uphill. You move for about 2 hours, and the shadows of the day start to get longer and longer. You hook south then, Fen, pointing in the direction that you would have known from your sort of dead reckoning so far, would get you towards the outskirts of Seva. As you approach the town, there is a tremendous amount of activity. There's a dozen carts parked very haphazardly about the inn. People wander about, some of them obviously injured. You see wounded people and unconscious people piled on the carts. Fen, you would recognize that these are mostly wood elves. What would you like to do?
Y'all, it seems like there's some kind of commotion up there, but I'm not going to force anybody to go into town if there's commotion, but I might need I need to go.
Do you need some help with, like, healing stuffs?
It's possible, Cloud. I just don't know what the situation is, but it looks like some of my folk have gotten caught up in something, and knowing the tight spot that we're often in, I'd at least like to find out.
Okay. Should we, like, go in with you? Wait here?
If you would like to come with me, y'all are more than welcome. It's just I don't want to force anybody's hand.
I'll go with you.
Oh, sure, but I mean, these folks look like they could use some smiling faces right now, so I'm more than willing to be that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Before we do, let me send this, and Rice is going to hold up this zone and speak into it. We lost the Eastern Patrol and 3 Sahanin cult and undead later. Killed the half-breed. Any word on the traitor? Please advise course.
You can tell that your spell has connected. And there is a very pregnant pause before you hear, I do not understand you. I have questions. Lodge at the Vanguard in Casina. Ask for Katsi. You will be compensated. And that's it.
Did the voice mean to sound that evil and dark?
You said large. I'll just watch the.
Ask your question. What's your question?
Okay. What was the meet at Casina?
The lodge at the Vanguard.
Lodge at Vanguard
in Casina.
Yep.
Ask for Katsi.
Okay. Thank you.
And I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm assuming you sent that in Undercommon. Was the reply also in Undercommon, or was that in Common?
Did you send it in Undercommon?
Yeah.
The reply was in Undercommon.
Cool. Just wanted to check that. I wasn't sure if the I don't understand meant that, but cool. Anyways, carry on.
Rice turns to the rest of the party and explains what he had just heard and says, don't believe we're being presently followed, but that doesn't mean that we won't be found.
Cool.
And
That's
Anara, you would know that that spell can be used once per day.
Yep.
So
Well then, if y'all don't mind, I'd like to go in and just see what happened and if there's a way to help.
Of course.
Of course.
Glad we'll
Yeah.
follow Fen.
Finn has a very kind of, I mean, he's always got kind of a serious face, but he looks a bit world weary.
sure. So you make your way in, and there's probably 40 people or so milling around. Everything from children to the elderly. There are maybe a dozen unconscious people on the carts. There are people walking around with burns, people walking around with other like penetrating trauma, slashing injuries, things like that. Folks
They're
are
not-
running around attempting to do what they can.
Are they currently under attack?
No, there is no current attack happening.
Cloud is just going to immediately start casting Spare the Dying,
Okay.
which is a cantrip on every unconscious person.
Okay.
they see,
Easily done.
which will stabilize any of them if they're.
Are
Okay.
all of these folks wood elves?
They're
are in
mostly
this group?
mostly wood elves. There are some other elven folk, couple of humans, but it is mostly wood elves.
And does anybody seem to be coordinating or leading in any way that is noticeable?
At this point, you don't notice anybody who's really like in charge of anything. Everybody seems to kind of be hurrying about. There are a handful of people who look up very expectantly as they see your group start to come in, but looking at you very quickly, they go back to dealing with the wounded, seeing Cloud moving around and administering healing. You hear a few muttered thank yous and things like that. Nobody's paying you particular mind.
I'm just gonna kind of come up and just say, what happened? My friend Cloud here is trying to provide some aid. Where, and then just kind of
Sure.
as usual.
A wood elf man looks up and sees what's going on, and we had to flee hosties. They attacked the camp. They set it ablaze.
Who?
We don't know. Things have gotten bad in the last few days. We've had trouble with the locals. We've had trouble with the landlords. We don't know. We think maybe one of them. People have scattered.
Oh, God! I hate to see that. I was just there a few days ago. Where are y'all? Are y'all just gonna stay here for the time being, or?
We don't know yet. We hoped to make it further east to Melamar, but it's days yet. So right now we need to get these people, as many of them, healed and stable as we can, and try and figure out if we can make our way from there.
DM, how many people did you say?
There's about 50-ish total. Between 40 and 50, you'd take a guess?
Do any of them have armaments or weapons, or look like they're built to fight? Like, is anybody dressed in?
Nobody's wearing armor. You see a couple of short swords, the occasional bow, but there's nothing. These are not fighters. These are people that have fled.
Rice, Alaska, the elf. Hate to ask you, but can you afford protection, or are we just gonna keep moving on?
I don't think we have anything to offer you.
What about where you're going?
I don't know. I've never been there. We've heard stories of it being a safe place for us, and it's by the sea. We hope to find it, but...
Rice, are you familiar with how refugees live? And Finn's just going to give him kind of a glare and say, excuse my friend, he's just not as familiar maybe with the experiences that we have all gone through.
From across the like area with the bodies, Cloud's just placing a paw on like unconscious hearts and casting spread down and say like, Rest, why don't you come help me over here?
And do what?
Just come over here, please.
Rice will walk over and just stand there next to Cloud.
So as this is happening, as the conversation's occurring, as you see all of this going on, as Cloud is doing healing, Cloud, you see Seveth come out from behind one of the carts. She's also been going around and administering healing as much as she can. And seeing you, she looks up, very relieved. You can see the look of relief wash over her face. Friends, your help is much appreciated. Once we tend to the wounded, please come to our home. We may be able to be of some assistance. We may need some more.
So we're in a bit of a pickle our own selves, but it is super great to see you, not going to lie. Maybe talk to Fen over there. He needs to know more of what's going on. I understand nobody's currently under attack. Are these people safe, like, so far moving forward? Just like right now, where they were was bad?
We don't expect there to be any sort of attack here. It seems to be localized to hosties and hostility towards some of the people there. We don't know who caused this, but they're safe here.
Okay.
For now.
I'll send Seveth to Fen, and
Okay.
I'll like tell her before she goes over there to be like, depending on who's asking, you maybe didn't see any of us.
All
Cloud,
right.
Yeah,
All right.
guys.
Are you going to tell our friend Seveth here that there's a goblin camp nearby and these elves are probably not safe?
Well, that goblin camp had families and stuff, right?
I don't see how that makes it any more safe.
Well, they'll be moving on. I
Seveth
don't think.
Seveth looks at you and just sort of shakes her head. They're of no concern if they're in the woods. They generally don't come down here.
Very well.
And
Go back to Fen.
she will make her way over to you, Fen. Thank you. This was unexpected, but your help is much appreciated. Your companion suggested that I come over and talk to you.
Well, Seveth, right? I'm sorry if
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, I know how difficult it can be for my people in different parts, no matter where they are. I talked to a couple people here, but it seems quite chaotic. Are there any immediate needs? I know that you've been probably healing, and I saw that you were talking over there to Cloud, and I know that they're looking to help in any way they can too. So
Healing is, of course, the most important thing right now. We will get them stabilized and as well for the road as we can. I know some of them have, and she gestures at the wood elf man who is standing. They've talked about wanting to head to the east towards the sea and see if they can find better refuge there. If I don't know if that's something that you can help them with, but if it is something that you could, once we deal with the trauma here, perhaps we could have a conversation. Just you can come over to Burrell's home and we can talk about options if that is something that you would want to do. There's no expectation of that. We just know that you are looking for work most of the time, so I don't know if that's where you were headed or not, but That's
Well, I of course I'd have to speak it over my companions. We face some of our own difficulties. It definitely seems like we all live in troubled times. Um,
yes.
I don't even know if this party would be in condition, not us, but all these folk be in condition to travel that great distance. But and DM question.
Yeah,
I'm assuming we're heading towards late afternoon, early evening.
getting into evening.
Um, I can discuss with my friends. We had been moving pretty quickly ourselves after
Of course.
there was some encounters with undead and others that
Oh,
uh, were unpleasant to say the least. Although we made our way all right, but
I'm glad to hear it.
I just want to say on behalf that I really appreciate Seth for what you're trying to do, and I know for a lot of people sometimes it's easy to turn a blind eye.
It is my calling.
And there is food and everything for everybody, food and water as much as they got.
There's plenty of water. We can make the food stretch if we need to.
Well, I'll talk to my companions to see if we're able to stop. We're having, as I said, some of our own concerns about some undead things and other stuff that doesn't mean we're not willing to help. We just don't know if we could accidentally make it even more dangerous.
I understand.
For these people, so we would need to think about it. But thank you again.
I don't think they'll be ready to move. Probably before morning at the earliest, maybe another day.
Finn takes a deep breath and sighs and walks back over to the group. And as he does, he always is kind of scanning to see if there's anyone he recognizes.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right. That is a nat 20 for 22.
You see a wood elf man that you recognize him. He's not somebody that you've spent a lot of time with, but you've passed by one another on the roads, and sort of his path has crossed yours enough time that you are sort of that passing acquaintance that you see just often enough at work where you go, oh, I know you. And you would remember that his name is Cassius.
So before I get back to the rest, I am going to move over and be like, Cassius, right? Finn here.
Oh, right. Fen. How did you come from Hosties as well? I didn't see you there.
No, we were further west, and just came into town and saw what. Do you know what happened? I mean, what's going on?
The last 2 or 3 days have gotten rough. There's been arguments with the landlords, with some of the locals about wages. You know, the locals there, they don't want us there. They think we're driving their wages down. The landlords want to force everybody to work for as little as they can. There were some fights, nothing that seemed like it was too bad or was going to get out of hand, but then it started getting worse. And earlier today there was a fire, and we've sort of scattered. This group set off north. I think there are probably more coming behind us, but we basically just threw people on carts where we could and got away.
Did everybody start to head north then, or did they just scatter to the wind?
Scattered to the wind. You know how it gets when things get bad. You pick a direction and you go. Yeah. I think some headed straight east into the hills there, trying to get over towards the sea. I know others went south, but there may be others coming north. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad to see you're all right.
You as
We
well.
just came in. Some of my friends are trying to help over there, and
We appreciate it.
I hope y'all are looking to travel east towards the sea.
I think that's best. Everything that we've heard is that things are okay in Melmar. That there's no animosity towards us there. People have been heading that way now for a couple of months, and we've gotten reports back that it's nice. It's not what the Habrock was, but the Habrock's not what the Habrock was, and it seems like it's away from any of the capital cities, so nobody's upset with us there. Nobody's forcing us out.
Y'all are heading through the Hobrock to try to get there.
Yeah, we'll have to.
You feel like y'all gonna be able to navigate it all right?
I've been enough. I don't know once we get on the other side of the hills exactly where we're headed, but go to the sea and head south. We'll find it.
How many days they say it takes?
Supposedly it was supposed to be about 4 or 5 days if you headed straight through the hills from Hosties. Going around like this with this number of folks, 2 weeks maybe, 3. I don't really know.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about this. I'm glad that y'all escaped, and I do hope there is safe refuge there.
I don't know that we all did, but I'm glad we did.
Well, that's what I meant, because I know it's been a hard lot for a while. Well, Cassius, take care of yourself. I need to talk to my companions here.
You too, Fen.
Thank you.
Well met.
And I'm just gonna kind of give him an elven handshake, kind of grabbing the wrist, and then head over to everybody else who has waited patiently.
While this is going on, Cloud is going to be like casting Spare the Dying on people with Rice nearby, and kind of like just like guiding Rice through people, and then noticing everybody grouping back up, we'll walk back to the group, and Cloud will look to Rice and say, so a lot of those people had like, something that I could do, although I didn't really want to use all my spells, but I don't really feel too bad about that because I'm a little bit worried for us. And Rice, I think that you are a really strong fighter, but I'm really sad that there is no spell that can help this. And Cloud will touch Rice's chest a little bit where his heart is and say, but we are nice. You can be nice to us, okay?
This has been my nice face for days, actually.
It will take time, but I believe in you. I believe in myself too, but I believe in you.
If you're asking me to show you up and heal more of these people than you, then the answer is no.
No. I was talking about this thing. The hurt.
Right. I've touched myself and healed myself plenty of times, but my heart has never. I don't know what you would say about that, but you understand my point.
I understand your point. I feel like I can understand that you have seen a lot of, not really great things.
I've done a lot of things.
We'll walk back if there's nothing else to say.
So I think Finn is just gonna relay, well, y'all. I think we got another decision to make here. Severus has asked and offered us to meet at Barrel's home. It is approaching night. I don't know if we want to get back on a schedule where we're going day by day, whether we're heading to casino or whatever. But asked if we could just meet with them, maybe hear some more. I don't see any harm in it, and I'd at least like to know. But I wanted to hear what y'all thought. It looks like there was some kind of revolt. Sometimes locals don't care for people who come in.
Fair enough. I would, if we are to discuss this, though, I think we need to be clear about what we're establishing, that what the result of it shall be. If we go there and we hear people out and we hear about this murder, then are we holding others accountable? Are we judging others? Are we executing someone for doing this? We need to decide that before we go with them, because that is going to be the result if there's a confrontation between us and others.
Well, I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I don't even know what they're thinking. I think what it sounds like to me is they're just hoping we can escort these folks. But I also know we have our own concerns, and I do appreciate that, Rice, and I do appreciate the predicament we have seemed to landed in. And what they sounded like, I saw an acquaintance of mine, and it sounds like it'd be a 2 or 3 week trip to the east, which is a long time, and probably more people heading this way. But I don't know what they're asking us. I think we have to sit and hear it. And I told them that we couldn't promise anything or that make a decision even when they ask us for something. If they do, they're not. I think what the people responsible for this it's a mob, and I don't know. I don't think we're going to be taking down a mob, or at least that's my guess. Who knows? It could be some other person who's paid a mob. I don't know.
Well, traditionally, these things are whipped up by individuals, not.
I think we can just like take a vote. I would prefer to continue moving. I don't know what Azira's and Nara's thoughts are. I feel like Maple's either way, but we could ask.
I
Oh,
think
Claude, for sure, I'm just following wherever you want me to go there, bud. You know, my axe is yours as always. I'm not really feeling too keen on making any choices today. You know, I really don't know what's going on as far as people chasing us. I just know that I don't want to be found before I figure out what's going on. So just keep me updated. You know, I'm here.
Does that mean that you're a null vote, or does that mean you are 2 votes, you and Cloud, or how does that work? Are you 1 vote now?
Bryce, Azir has something to say.
Okay.
Azir laughs a little bit, and then just says, I think we should consider Rice's earlier point of bringing danger to wherever we go. As much as I would love to help these people, and I think it would be the right thing to do, I am concerned that anything that is following us might go for them as well.
One thing to consider is that we still don't have all of the details yet of what's being asked. Another is that we know that there's potential for danger if we go into Casina, whether it be from the true elves or from others there who might not care too much for true elves. At least with these refugees, we can at least use them as a masquerade of sorts, in that we could be part of their party. People won't necessarily be looking for a large group of refugees, at least not the ones that are chasing after us. They might just overlook us completely.
Well, I guess the other thing is, regardless of what we decide, is this would affect it, of course, but do y'all want to stop for the night in town and get back to traveling by day? I figure when we approach Casino, it'd be better to be by day anyway if we head that direction.
I'm fine with finding out more and stopping for the day and figuring things out, making a choice that we're all comfortable with. I do have to commend you, though, dear sister, that hostage analogy is just wonderful, just spot on. Very effective tactic, actually.
Well, I admit I have my own selfish motivations for at least wanting to hear more. I've already informed that we might not be able to help, but um, it might be a lot of people heading this way. I'd like to at least maybe keep my eyes out to see for the night. Is that okay with y'all if we do the night and hear it, and then if we're not, then we keep moving on in the morning and get back on a daytime schedule?
Xeris nods.
As much as my eyes hate the daytime, I think that might be our best option right now.
Yeah, buds, I am absolutely useless at nighttime,
You
so
can hold hands with Maple and Nara.
Well, I appreciate that, y'all. I know we have our own concerns, but I definitely appreciate that. And I think we can just head over to Barrels and from there maybe hear a bit more, and then from that we'll have to decide. I'd at least like to get some more information.
Exactly.
Okay. Is everybody going to go over to Burrell's, or is anybody going to see about lodging? What's the plan?
I imagine I'm just going to do my own business and let Fen or whoever is interested to have that conversation and get more details.
Okay.
Rice will go with Fen.
Okay.
Xeris will go with Fen.
Okay.
Anara will go with Cloud.
All right.
I think Mabel will look at Cloud kind of quizzically and just say, you know, but do you think I would be more use going with you, or maybe like standing watch outside of wherever the other folks are going, just to make sure that nobody tries to sneak up on us? Like, what do you think?
Oh, I'm assuming that like we're going to sleep in the same place that we were before, DM.
You can walk inside and ask. I mean, the building is standing there, so
I'm gonna assume that that's the case. Yes, Maple. I think that, you know, looking out and like we can just go up to the loft and plan and chat and.
Oh, but bunk beds again? Is it gonna be bunk beds? Really?
It
Bunk
seems
beds?
so. Yes,
Like,
yes, it seems. Yes.
yeah, Maple is just bunk beds. Like under her breath, and she's already walking towards the building.
Okay. Cloud, Anara, and Maple, you go over to the ambassador. Veas is there. Yes, the loft is available if you care to stay. He's trying to whip up some simple food that he can feed some of these people, but you know, he's not expecting any of them to be coughing up money to sleep in a space, especially when there isn't enough room for all of them.
Mabel will find a mouse and quickly pass along the message that Cloud is going to be in the building.
Okay.
Just to warn them before they try.
Your message is received, and the mouse thanks you for the information.
Seeing him having to like prep for food, Cloud will hand over 5 gold and say, I don't really know if it like will help if there's like a place to buy food, but if it is helpful.
There's nothing. I mean, we have to go look for stuff, but it's always helpful to be able to replenish stock and supplies. So, I thank you very much.
And Anara will hand over an additional 10.
Your room and your food's taken care of, and you know, I'll throw some of that coffee in the morning if you care for it again. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you for all you've done.
There's a lot of folks that need help here, so. All right. So you have secured the lodging for the evening. Fen and Aziris and Rice, you head over to Burrell's home?
Believe so.
Okay. Knocking on the door opens. Burrell sees you standing there. Well, thank you. Sevith said that you might be coming by. She's cleaning up a bit from tending to everyone. Do come in, please.
Thank you. We at least wanted to hear what you knew. Appreciate you letting us, keeping us informed. You remember my friends, Rice and Aziris?
Certainly, certainly. And Rice, as you walk into the space, Thora looks up and sees you and runs over and throws her arms around you.
All right. You don't know where I've been, and he just kind of palms her head and like pushes her away.
She just sort of smiles and nods, and she is not leaving your side, though. She is standing right by you, sort of fidgety, and you can tell that she is very happy to see you.
Finn just can't help but smile and and winks at the girl.
She winks back. What?
Well,
It's
Seth-
good to see you, and we thank you for your help. What can we do for you?
Well, I guess what you can do for us, and my companion just probably has some questions as well. Severus said that we should come talk to you. I do want to. It sounded like she was proposing that maybe we help escort, but I do have to let you know we had some run-ins ourselves, and we have some concerns over where we actually maybe endanger them even more.
I see.
But I don't know. She said to come talk to you, and so I was kind of curious that there was anything you could let us know just about the situation. If you've heard any word on if there's more folks coming this way.
The only information that we've ascertained so far is from these individuals who've come here. So you spoke with them and you spoke with Savith, so you are aware of what has happened in Hosties. They are trying to make their way to the sea. From what she says, it seems like it will be a day or two before they're well enough to take to the road again. You know the Harbrock, it can be quite dangerous, and to ask these people to... We can't ask you to escort them. We don't have the resources to contract you. I don't think any of them do, and there's no guarantees of what you might find on the other end, but I do worry for their safety on the road. If they are unescorted, there's beasts, there's monstrosities. It's just...
Are there any others, any rangers around or others that could potentially assist and be hired to bring them along the way? And do you know how much that would cost?
I have not seen any others come through yet. We don't know yet if others will make their way up from Hosties. This is all a very new situation in the last few days. We don't know if people are staying on the road. We don't know if people have had to stop to bury their dead. There's much uncertainty right now. What I know is that these people are going to venture further east, and they may be in trouble along the way. Sevith may be able to offer some tools to help, but and we can set them up with as much supplies and provisions as we can afford to spare, to ensure that they have several days of food for the journey. But there's just much uncertainty right now, so I can't promise you more than whatever help Sevith can offer.
Yeah, I just, we'd have to discuss it, but our fear is that we would actually endanger the group even more, potentially draw something to them. And
may I ask what type of danger you're concerned about? You've come here, so I'm now I'm concerned about what might be headed this way.
Well, I know we had attacked some undead, and there was one of them seemed to be haunting us or something. So, and he kind of backs up and turns and to see if Rice or Aziris has anything to add or ask questions.
I see. That is certainly a concern.
Bro, you don't have many sword arms here, do you?
No.
Do you have a personal weapon, at least?
I do. Seveth as well.
Well, no other questions, I suppose. That's all I wanted to know.
All right.
I will add, the undead that is haunting us. I don't think you should be concerned about that. It is very specifically following one of us.
I see.
Does not wish to attack much else.
That is a comfort. I'm sorry for your trouble, but...
It's a comfort for me as well. I'll say that. But no, yeah, we definitely don't want to endanger you all, and we don't want to endanger the party. It was just that when we were approaching, we just saw the trouble and wanted to help any way we could. But with that, I having learned what we have, I think we'll probably end up retiring to try to get some rest and some fill our bellies since we've been on the road for a bit.
Very well. Your assistance is much appreciated. I don't know where Seveth has gone to, but before you make a decision, do come back. I believe she would want to talk to your healer friend.
Cloud, right?
Yeah. Yes, I believe that was their name. Yes.
Okay. I'll let them know.
All right.
And
Thank
then
you.
And then say it's good to see the little one up on her feet. And then I'll kind of smile at Rice.
We remain very grateful to you for all that you did.
Is she doing any chores right now?
Thora, you mean? Or who are you asking of?
The child, the girl. Is she doing any chores right now?
Well, so he looks at you kind of oddly because she is standing immediately next to you, again, just sort of fidgeting and kind of half bouncing up and down. So I'm sorry, I don't...
I was going to teach her how to kill goblins, if you don't mind.
I appreciate your desire to add to her skill set. I don't think that will be necessary.
What about rabbits?
He looks at you sort of oddly. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
They're most vile and despicable creatures.
Fangs.
22.
He looks at you. If Thora, is this something you would want to learn? And she nods. Yes. All right. All right.
Aziris is just smiling, watching this happen.
All right, Laura. Let's go outside and kill some rabbits, I suppose. Or whatever else we want. Because your father won't be there to stop us.
Gives you a look like he is annoyed as hell with you.
Well, thank you again, Burrell. My companion Rice does have a way with words, but I think that's his way of trying to show appreciation. That's just
I understand.
He has an odd way of expressing caring, but I think he means well for you and for her. And but
He
thank you
nods.
again, and
Yeah,
I'll be sure to tell Cloud
Thank you.
and then head at least head back to the inn.
Okay. Rice, what are you and Thora gonna go do?
Rice is gonna lead her over to. Is there a tree line nearby?
Yeah, about probably 60 yards to the east of the house, sort of on the road headed out of town towards, back towards the north. You had come in this way when you came into town.
Okay. So Rice is going to show her how to throw some sticks at first, and then after about an hour, hand her a javelin and teach her how to throw that at a tree.
Okay, go ahead and make a... Give me just a straight up intelligence check.
Nat 20 for 19 because I have -1.
Okay, so after about an hour's worth of work, you are astonished to see the level of precision that this girl is able to muster with a javelin. She is surprisingly strong, and her aim is incredibly true. She takes your coaching and immediately applies it, and every place that you point out a target, shit's just nailing it.
What did you say your name was again?
Thora.
Laura.
Thora.
Thora? It's not Dora. It's Thora? Okay.
Thora.
Thora? Okay. I'm probably going to forget, but I was just wondering if it was a true elf name or something, because you just seem to have a knack for this, and I'm just very confused about this whole situation.
She's very excited at the affirmation.
Afterward, Rice will lead her back and leave her with 3 javelins.
All right. Thank you.
Rice will go join the rest of the party after that.
Okay. You have reunited. Rice having returned after an hour, I assume that...
I don't know if we need to necessarily RP it. It feels like we need to be on the road tomorrow, right, team?
I mean, you guys can have a conversation about it as players. You can RP it however you want.
Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, you I don't know if what you're doing, so
Neither do we.
Yeah.
So you probably need to figure that out somehow. But
Yeah.
how you do that is up to you.
So what do we? I was going. I assumed everyone would just have the plan ready. What are we doing?
Well, it seems to me that we probably would put these people in more danger, and I don't even know if we know the way. I hate to say that. Cloud, I did want to mention Severith wanted to see you if you were available at some time. I'd say let's just get our bellies full, maybe provide some aid in any way we can, and I don't want to endanger. And this is breaking my heart, but it's a situation I seem to find myself in.
I agree. I think we should move on. As much as I would like to help these people, for their sake, I think we should keep going.
It's sad to say, but I feel like leaving them is honestly more helpful.
I think you're muted.
As much as I would love to fight various beasties to protect these travelers, I agree. I think we might be putting them in more danger by traveling with them.
Well, I guess we have our decision there. Why don't we just go ahead and fill our bellies and get a good night's sleep? I pass that message to you, Cloud, and then in the morning we see if the situation changes at all. But if not, then we head on our way to Casino.
Um, and then DM, assuming that like nothing else happens this day, Cloud would probably go out and like actually use all their spell slots to cast healing, like word and like healing touch on people,
Sure.
and use up the spell slots before bed if
Sure.
possible.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I don't think it needs to be RP'd, but is there someplace in town that Anara can get some like phosphorus or witchwood to replenish her stock?
There's not going to be anything for those kinds of supplies. There's no general store or anything like that. Really, all you have is Burrell's home and the ambassador. That's about it. Everybody else that's in this area is sort of farmers off in the distance.
Does
and
any? Oh God, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Does anyone in town have a way to like grind up like a gemstone into dust? Do you think?
No, there would not be anybody in town who could do that. That is a little bit beyond the scope of anything that they deal with.
Yeah. Once we're done having dinner, Aziris will approach Fen and just kind of nervously say, Fen, I know we aren't able to help these people much, but what can we do in the meantime without... I can't provide any healing, but I would like to help if there is a way I could. I just don't know what I could do.
I'm a bit stuck too. I think my biggest thing, what I was hoping was there'd be some other adventuring party that could be contracted to protect them instead of us to maybe do something, but apparently there's none in town. I do have a companion there, and I think before I leave, having ventured and crossed this path a few times, I'm probably going to provide him some gold and mention that idea to him and see if they can find anybody along the way.
He thinks for a moment. How much gold?
Well, I think that's up to you. I know it. I don't even know how much those services would cost, but I'm probably going to give them around 25 gold because I just don't feel that.
Fen, you would know what Verona had paid you for your services, so you could make a reasonable estimation based on that.
Okay. Well, I think for just a guide for 2 or 3, 4 days, it'd probably be about 3 gold. So if you 2 or 3 gold, but if you expand that out for a couple of weeks, maybe about 20 gold. I'm probably going to go ahead and try to cover that cost myself. There's always a risk they'll just pocket it, but I'd rather.
I don't think that would be bad.
I think that's what I'm going to try to do. So I appreciate your concern, Aziris. I feel torn here, but I do understand the wisdom of what you and others have said.
Aziris fishes into his bag and will pull out 20 gold and hand it to Fen. You can also give them this if that will help.
Well, I really do appreciate that. And I'll be sure to track down Cassius, and I'll be contributing the same. So thank you.
Of course. And if you do think of anything, just let me know. I'd love to try and help if I could. Sorry, go ahead.
Whenever they finish up, Rice was also going to go and see Fen privately.
Okay.
Popular.
It's a popular guy.
Rice gets real close to Fen and says, I know what I think, but I want to know what you think. These people are probably dead, yes?
I wouldn't say they're necessarily dead. I'd say that some of them will be. What usually happens when you have these kind of mass movements of people from conflict is some of them get caught up and some get away. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Some will get away and some won't make it. And for the children, it's going to be very difficult.
All right. I suppose you've already made your peace with that, right?
Well, last thing I want is to bring down a group of drow or some holy undead thing upon them and ensure
We already
Yeah.
have. It's
if we separate paths, they can go and look, but I'd rather not be directly there and have them accused of harboring us.
I don't have any doubts that a party of drow would mind coming here and torturing Burrell and young Thura to get some information about where we went. I don't think that's beyond the scope of possibility. I think it's a probability. And why I said we shouldn't have come here, but that's beyond the conversation now. I just wanted to see if you were going to be a wreck after today. So it's my advice that you make your peace with the fact that most of these people are going to die.
It's been a lot of my people for a while. And in some ways, I'm numb to it. And in some ways, when you see that suffering, it just continues. But I'm not going to be a wreck. At least I hope not. But that said, do remember that we're moving this way to protect you. And that means that I am separating from others that I might get help. Now, I really do appreciate your advice, but I just want to make sure you understand that.
Well, I do understand that, Fen. And actually, no one asked me what I thought about traveling with the group, and I was perfectly fine with it.
Okay. Well,
it's too late now, isn't it?
Well, everybody said their thing. Everybody said their piece. And since we seem to be voting on everything that way, we'll do what it is. But we'll see what we can do. And, you know, I've never heard you wait to be asked to respond to something before. So don't be afraid to speak up. You usually aren't, particularly on these important decisions.
Well, I figured after the sending stone incident, I better come up with better ideas first.
I don't think you're the only one. I've had that a bit myself, but I appreciate your at least expression of understanding of their lot.
Well, to be perfectly honest, one of the individuals that have probably caused that in the past.
Yeah, I figured as much. But you're not the only ones. There are ones in the Politia who have, and there's ones in the Commonwealth who have. And then you just get stuck like a hammer on an anvil. You think you reach refuge, and then this happens. So,
right. Well, speaking of that, going north of Casino, also terrible idea. However, it's what we decided to do. We have limited options. Okay, I have nothing else to say. Wonderful. It's been a good day.
Yeah, we keep having to pick one horrible thing after another, but that's why I said what I did back there. Let's at least try to make as decent of. Let's at least try not to make the authorities in the Commonwealth another headache for us when we got enough as it is. But let's get back to the others then. And
I will point out that whoever wants to talk to me in Casino is most assuredly not legit. They're most likely a criminal. They're most likely connected to other criminals. We're most likely to get ambushed and they're going to try to kill me. But it'll be fun.
Well, that seems to be almost every day of our existence here for a bit now. So we should be used to it by now. And yeah, big cities have criminals and criminal networks. We'll see what we can do.
Have you ever done a job, Fen? One of those. They can be rather exciting.
I've never really been directly hired by a criminal syndicate or anything. I have been wanted by people before for things I've done, so I get that.
Right. I know the feeling. I did read a book once. I must say that in all my time in the academy, there was never once that someone offered me a criminal job. I would have done it.
Well, maybe you're finding a new calling.
I'm looking forward to my new life as an upstanding criminal.
Well, they have their own code, apparently.
Noted. So, are we going to go and tell the rest of the group that we're fucked, or?
I think everybody already kind of understands that. I think we're just tired of waiting.
Right.
Okay.
Very well. I do suggest that you be on watch because I don't trust Maple to do that.
Happy to do it.
Wonderful.
Speaking of Maple, she's feeling pretty useless up in the hayloft all by herself in the realm of making decisions. So she's probably just talking out loud to herself. To Moradin, not really knowing what she's doing. She's
Okay.
new at this.
Sure.
Hey there, big bud. Just curious here, because I'm new to this and everything. But when you told me to go up north, were you just telling me for me, or were you telling me for the group? Because I have never been a selfish person, I have absolutely thrown my axe down, both by accident and on purpose, when I'm needed. So if you could just let me know, just to make sure that everybody is going to, feel the good effects of us going north, that would be nice.
Okay. You wait for a minute or so, and there's no obvious reply. You don't hear a voice like you heard before. You don't have that feeling come over you again like you did. So, no effect one way or the other.
Okay. Maple will just, sigh and smile. Well, I'll take me not feeling anything bad as a good sign. Thanks for being there, bud. It feels nice to know, that somebody's looking out for me other than Claude for once. I'll just keep doing my thing then, bud. And she makes everybody's bed extra comfy for the night, to try and make up for the fact that she has had nothing of value to contribute.
Okay.
She is a valuable thing that contributes to the group all the time. She has nothing to worry about.
So you all settle in for an evening's rest, having spent about a half a day on the road and then dealing with the healing and talking with Burrell and whatnot. It's later. It's getting late in the evening as you settle in. You can take...
Claude will just go really quick to see what's up with... Was it Seveth?
Sure. Okay. So getting back to Burrell's home, the door opens. You're invited in. Seveth, please sit. Let's talk for a moment. And did you find what you were looking for in Misa? Did it help?
Not really. I learned more about some of the deities, but I think that I need to learn even more. But it was a good start, so thank you.
In the bigger cities, there are temples to all of them. It's worth your time to visit and to talk with the clerics at each of them. Do you know what your group intends to do? Will you be heading on your own way, or?
Well, I don't really know, but probably not getting kicked out of the next city we go to will be like the number one goal.
It's a good goal to have.
Yeah.
Burrell mentioned that there was some concern about the undead.
We've seen a lot of undead recently, but I don't really know what it means.
I see. I appreciate all the help that you did today, all the aid that you rendered, and I don't know where your journey will take you next, but it sounds like there may be some challenges along the way, and I have no coin to offer, but I hope I could offer you some tools that might be of assistance?
Like, sure. What kind of tools?
She gets up and goes over and brings two things over. She hands out a quarterstaff, and it is a much finer quarterstaff than you've seen before. It is very nicely polished, finished. There are intricate carvings all around it, and when you place your paws on it, you can feel sort of this energy coursing through it. There are things that respond better to divine items than to mere common weapons. This might be useful for you. And this is a +1 quarterstaff. So it is a 1d6 +1 or 1d8 +1. It is versatile. She also hands over what looks like a beaded necklace. These are prayer beads. They can be quite helpful in healing. You did very fine work out there today, and I wish that you have the opportunity to do more. And the necklace has 6 consumable beads. 3 of them are cure wounds at level 2. 1 is a lesser restoration. 1 is a greater restoration. And I'm sorry, that was not enough to add up to 6, so it's actually 4 cure wounds at 2nd level.
She explains this, what it means.
Yep.
Or I just
Yeah.
know.
No, she gives you she tells you what they do, and
Okay.
that you can use them to cast those spells.
Wow. Well, this is really great, honestly. Like, much better than money sometimes. Because, to be honest, I haven't really been able to spend any, really, on anything that I would have wanted to. So, this is very helpful.
That is often the life of a cleric.
Well, I will try to, send a letter or something and let you know how we are doing.
Please do.
Thank you so much. And Cloud will, not sure to, doesn't really want to give a hug, but, so just, does the handshake thing.
Seventh just sort of clasps your paw very gently and gives a bow.
Okay. And Cloud will just be nod a little bit and then leave.
Okay. So you all settle in for an evening's rest. You can take watches if you feel the need. There will be nothing of substance that happens on your watches, so we don't need to worry about that. You're in a building. You're safe. However, Rice, as you slumber, your dreams begin to be filled with this very sharp relief of a moon and sort of rays coming off of it and across it in a way that you've never seen before. But in your dream, it has this sense of being this very hidden thing, even though it's bright. It's immediately in front of you, and yet it is completely mysterious. And you hear a feminine voice very lightly come through your brain that just says, do good work. And you sit bolt upright after 4 hours. But you feel completely and fully rested.
Rice is going to look around. Is everyone except for Watch asleep right now?
Yeah.
I think Anara is still up. She's been writing in her journal.
Sure.
Rice, are you okay?
I'm fine. Just didn't feel like sleeping.
I know the feeling well. The last few days have been pretty rough.
You've been all right? No different than any other day. Nothing exceptional has happened.
Speak for yourself. Those were pretty trying times in that cave. I didn't know what to do watching you be tortured like that.
Well, I suppose you didn't have to really have a choice there, so tis whatever. I was expecting to die, so a little disappointed, to be honest.
I'm not. I prefer to keep you around.
Sometimes I think about that and what's the best way to die? That's what I think about all the time.
Hopefully in my sleep.
Well, I have less opportunity to do that myself now that I can't sleep, so.
Welcome to my club.
So the evening wraps up. You and your friends shake loose the cobwebs. You make your way downstairs in the morning, go through the process of getting food and getting ready to set off. Is the plan that you will be heading then up the road towards Casino?
Correct. I'd like to make sure that I'm able to give the 40 gold, 20 from Aziris and 20 from Finn to Cassius with the explanation of we can't help right now, but find some protection on the way.
He's easily done. He accepts the gift, thanks you very profusely, and says we'll take care of it. And that is where we are going to take our break for this evening. So give yourselves 10 minutes to grab a fresh drink and whatnot. And all of you just leveled up to level 4.
Oh.
Yay!
So you can use your 10 minutes worth of break time to go ahead and level up.
Oh my god.
And
yes.
we will roll hit dice when we get back from the break real quick. So
Cloud really leveled up.
The union is going to hear about this and how we didn't get a full break.
So-
That's all I have to say about that. So you're going to get a
10
strongly
minutes.
worded letter.
hit the bathroom, grab a drink. We'll see you all in a little bit. Cheers.
All right.
And we are back. I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed and followed and cheered. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the support. Again, our cast is involved in the game during the game, so we are not in chat, but thank you all for your love, support, and encouragement. With that, back to the game. So, you all have awoken from your long rest, feeling very energized and prepared for a new day, with lots of new skills. So, as level 4 adventurers, you set out down the road headed towards Casino. Fen, you get the group going and pointed down the road. As you begin heading out, this is terrain that is familiar to all of you for some time. You pass by the location, Aziris, Anara, and Rice. You pass by the spot where you had your bandit encounter early on in your adventures. Continuing on, Fen, Cloud, and Maple, you pass by the rock area where you had your encounter with the goblins, with Verona and Fen, where you would recall the very odd way that Veus had handled the goblin when you got into Casina to Seva to begin with just giving him a stern talking to and sending him away. And all of these sort of memories are flashing for all of you, realizing that although it's only been a little over a week that you've come together, you've actually shared a tremendous number of moments and experiences. You make your way for the remainder of the day. Fen, you would know that you've got another full day of travel ahead of you. You find a spot and settle in and make your camp for the night. Your evening passes without any issues. You rotate your watches and whatnot, and then get up for what you, Fen, would imagine would be your last day of travel before reaching the outskirts of the Commonwealth. At this point here, you are getting into the Hobrock proper. Fen, in your youth, this was all forest, stretching from the eastern slopes of the Haldir miles to the east, almost to the sea. The landscape now is marred by the clear cutting of those forests and scars from surface mining. The road is littered with debris, the remains from logging and mining operations, broken carts, the bones of beasts of burden that have just been drug off the side of the road and left to wither and rot in the sun, periodic mounds of earth from where makeshift graveyards were made for workers who died harvesting this land. Periodically, you spot these sort of concavities in the land where mining operations have dug down, and the surfaces around that glint with this white and yellow residue of minerals. You continue walking for about a half a day, crossing this marred and barren landscape. Give me a marching order.
Middle.
Anara's going to be next to Maple.
Okay.
Fen will be up front.
Okay.
Rice back.
Okay. Cloud somewhere behind Fen?
Yeah, somewhere behind Fen.
Okay. So as you are moving along, Cloud, you see a shadow pass over you, but it looks like a human. And you look up, and in looking up, you see this monstrosity with these large feathered wings, antler-like horns, and its legs end in these sharp taloned feet, and it dives on you. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
It's one of my favorite monsters. That's exciting.
Can we just like tame it and I'm just kidding. Ride it? No.
You can try. You
No,
can
it's
certainly
not gonna work.
try.
I'm not gonna try.
I've got an old grumpy one in the circus in one of my games that I run. It's great.
All right. Let me just get
Grumpy
his.
seems like a perfect attitude.
All right. Anybody over 20? That's a good start. 20 to 15.
18 for Xeris.
Okay.
16 for Finn.
Okay. 14 to 10.
13 for Inara.
I'm sorry, 13?
13.
13 for Inara. Okay.
13 for Cloud 2. My dex is +2.
Okay. And under 10.
8 for Rice.
Okay.
7 for Maple.
7 for Maple. So, this giant beast comes bearing down. As it approaches, it is pointed in the direction of Inara as it is going after the smallest thing it can see. Aziris, you're up. What would you like to do? It is
Cool.
currently in a dive from 30 feet coming down.
30. Alright, cool. May as well just cast Witch Bolt, so he will tap his staff on the ground. It'll light up with that light violet electricity and point down, or up, opposite of down, towards the creature.
Okay.
And attempt to hit it. Oh, PETA, please. Oh, PETA, don't step. That would be a no with a 6.
Okay, so the energy of that witch bolt just kind of goes flying past as this thing is arcing its way down. You gonna do anything else?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna stay where he is.
All right, Fen, what would you like to do?
Finn's gonna grab an arrow out of his quiver,
Okay.
whisper to it in Elvish and say, "To thy mark be true." Casting with his bonus action, Hunter's Mark on this monstrosity, and with that is going to release, knock and release. And that is a total of 20 to hit.
Okay, so this arrow sinks in, but it doesn't seem to go as deep into the creature as you would think that it would. What'd
Okay.
you roll for damage?
Total damage was 7 piercing.
Okay, so seeing it sink in, you would have expected it to take more force, and it's definitely hurt, but it's not as much of a blow as you would have thought that it would have been.
What the heck? And that'll end Finn's turn.
Okay, Inara, you are up. What would you like to do?
How far is Inara away from the creature?
So this thing is basically diving straight down on top of you from about 30 feet.
Inara, since she can't really hit it with a blade yet, she's actually going to try to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Okay.
So she's going to pull out a little piece of tart from her breakfast, mutter a few words in Abyssal, and cast the spell.
Okay.
And let's see, what is that? That is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. What's your spell DC?
12.
Okay. With a 5, this feathered creature seems to react. What is the outcome of its failed save?
Let's see, if I remember correctly, it let me read through it real quick again. I think it falls prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration, which is 1 minute.
Okay, let me just... Yeah, no, its intelligence is high enough. Okay, so there is now, having slammed into the ground, this immobile beast. Cloud, what would you like to do?
Is it laughing?
It's
Oh, yeah.
laughing as much as a bird-like thing with the head of a deer can laugh. It's making noises.
All right. Cloud's gonna would moving away wouldn't cause an opportunity attack.
Not at this point, no.
Okay. I'm gonna move away about 10 feet and be like, "This is the strangest thing that I have ever seen."
Okay, 10 feet, what direction?
Just directly away from the bird thing.
Okay,
And
easily done.
Cloud's going to, I guess, cast guiding bolt on it.
Go for it.
So, yeah, here we go. Oh, but it's a ranged spell attack, so maybe I'll just move back another 10 feet.
That's
before
fine.
I cast it. So I will cast guiding bolt at first level, and where did it go? I guess. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Like my first level spells show up under my second level spells, and it confuses the hell out of me. It's a 17 to hit.
Okay, it's an auto crit, so because it's prone
No,
and incapacitated
Oh.
because of the spell, it can't do anything.
I see. I was like, oh, 17. No. Okay. Yep. Then
So-
that's, I guess, just the damage.
Yep.
19.
Okay.
Radiant.
Go ahead and roll your double your damage. So it's 4d6, right?
It is. So I'll
roll another 4d6.
I will roll another 4d6.
And part of Tasha's hideous laughter is that at each of its turns and anytime it takes damage, it gets to make another wisdom saving throw.
Outstanding. So
And if it's triggered by damage, it's with advantage.
even better.
I don't see a way to roll it without recasting the spell. So I could.
Oh, you should just be you should be able
Like
to
I
go
could-
into your character sheet and do 46. But
At the little D20 down in the bottom left corner of your D&D Beyond.
Yuki. I see it. All right, so that is 14 plus 19, which is 23.
okay.
Right?
Uh,
Nope, 33.
it-
That's
33.
It's not looking good at all in any way, shape, or form. However, with a 20, it does save. So it's not looking happy at all. Does that end your turn?
Yes, the next attack has advantage to hit.
Okay, very good. With that, it is now the Puritan's turn. It is seeing all of this that is going on around it. It is going to go ahead and use half of its movement to get back up to 30 feet. It does not provoke any opportunity attacks, and it is going to make a dive on Fen. Actually, no, it is going to make a dive on Anara because you cast Tasha's on it, and it's smart enough to know that. So it is going to go ahead and dive on you. It gets to make 2 attacks, 1 gore attack, 1 talon attack. A 13 does not hit, correct?
No.
Okay, so it misses with the 13. Natural 20 on its talon attack. Plus the damage from the dive. So, let's see here. So, 16, 17, 18, 19, plus... what did I say? 19 plus 5. So
Okay, so
24.
that's 24.
24 total. And with that, it's going to use its remaining movement and just pop back up to 30 feet without taking an opportunity attack. At this, you now see and hear its mate decide it's going to go ahead and use all of its movement to fly in your direction. You now have a second one over the top of you, just about 30 feet above you. However, it has used all of its movement to get there. So, that ends its turn. Rice, you're up. What would you like to do?
Rice is going to put his hands down by his sides and say, Thais no baza, and cast Conquering Presence.
Okay.
And that is a DC of 14, or all enemy creatures will be frightened.
Okay. So one. Oh, hold on. What can I save?
It's a Wisdom.
All right. So one fails, one succeeds. So the one that had initially come down is frightened. The other one is not.
Okay. And after that, he is going to reach over and touch Inara and cast Shield of Faith on her.
Okay.
It's a bonus action, and that'll end his turn.
All right, that ends your turn. Maple, you're up. What would you like to do?
Are both of these things still in the air?
Yep.
Okay, Maple can't really do much, but she'll go ahead and go into a rage, kind of nudging Inara, knowing these things are going after her first, and say, oh, but birds are always a hassle, but I'm ready to wrestle. And she'll go ahead, and she's actually going to, she can't attack recklessly, because this isn't, she can't do any of her stuff. She's just kind of chucking a javelin at the first one.
Sure. What's the range on your javelin?
They're 30 feet up, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You
So
have
that's gonna be-
advantage because of guiding bolt.
Oh, okay, then that's a 21 to hit.
Okay. Which one are you aiming at? The first one that attacked Inara or the other one?
The first one.
Okay. So your javelin sails up and sinks into this creature for how much damage?
9
Oh.
piercing.
Okay, and with that, this first one plummets out of the sky and crashes to the ground. Does that end your turn?
Whew.
Yes.
All right. Top of the round. Aziris, you're up. There is a dead Puritan at your feet and one 30 feet above your head.
Cool. Just curious, does the second one's shadow also look like a human?
Yep.
Cool. Stubborn that he is going to attempt Witch Bolt one more time.
Okay.
So again, electricity just lights up his staff, and he just kind of like mutters under his breath, a little annoyed at himself. Points up again. Does a 14 hit?
This thing just manages to get itself out of the way. Just barely.
Cool. He again curses under his breath, frustrated. And that is gonna be his exciting turn.
Okay. Fen, you're up. There is one circling over your head.
Finn pulls an arrow from his quiver, whispers to it, moving his hunter's mark over, calling out, saying, Maple, you're pretty good with the javelin there. And then let's see if I can do the same. And releases and shoots there.
Okay.
And that is a 12.
Okay, so this arrow just sort of flies by as the thing is moving around, circling about.
Oh, God, no.
You're going to stay there or you're going to move?
Finn's going to stay there. Seeing a group might be better than running out and getting separated.
All right, that ends your turn. Inara, you are up. What would you like to do?
Okay. For her bonus action, Inara's going to take her potion of healing
Okay.
and do a little bit of healing on herself for a total of 7 points of healing.
Good.
And then she is going to use her movement to circle around and get on the other side of between Rice and Aziris
Okay.
to kind of get away from this dive bombing bird thing.
Easy to do.
And she is, for her action, she is going to take one of her daggers and attempt to throw it at it.
Okay.
And also cast Booming Blade at the same time.
Okay.
Or no, actually, can I do that? Hold on. Yes,
you
I can.
Yeah,
So-
you can.
Yeah.
It's a melee attack for Booming Blade, isn't it? Oh, unless it's got a
That's
thrown
right.
property. Nope, you can do it with a dagger and throw it because it's got the dagger. It has a thrown property.
Okay, so we'll do that. So that is a 24 to hit.
Okay. What's the range on a dagger? 20 feet?
20 feet with a 60-foot.
Sure.
Extra.
So it's at disadvantage
Okay.
because it's beyond.
So in that
20
case, it'd be a
feet.
12.
Okay.
That'd be a 12 then.
So yeah, throwing it, you get a great throw on the first 20 feet, and then it just sort of sails a little bit further and doesn't quite reach before it crashes to the ground.
Of course.
All right.
That's the end of my turn.
That ends your turn. Cloud, you're up. There is a dead beastie on the ground and one 30 feet in the air.
With seeing that it was a human shadow, is this a monster creature or a human?
It is a monstrosity.
Okay.
So it is not a human.
Cloud is very
Just
confused.
weird.
Never seen anything like this before. Kind of considers casting Spare the Dying, but I guess maybe, I don't know, that's a touch spell. I'd have to run up there. I take it back. I don't like being close to big stuff. Cloud is going to how high above is
30
this bird?
feet.
30 feet.
30 feet. Circling at 30 feet.
Cloud's gonna cast a command.
Okay.
And it is a wisdom save of 13 now that I have leveled up.
With a 10, what is your command?
Alright, Cloud's gonna point their paw at it and yell, "Flee!"
Okay.
And hope that it uses its action and bonus action to move as far away as possible.
Okay. That ends your turn?
Yep.
All right. It is now its turn. Having been told to flee, it must use its full movement and action to get away from you. It flies 120 feet away. It is well out of range at this point.
We want to leave them alive. We get around, I suppose.
So, what would you like to do?
I know what I'd like to do, but I want to ask the group.
I think we should flee.
I think moving on is a good idea.
All right. Then Cloud's gonna run past and then just really quick cast Spare the Die on the other one because it feels bad. They like love each other and stuff, and then run away.
Okay. All right. So you cast Spare the Dying on the currently unconscious and flightless Puritan and continue running up the road.
I hope they don't attack anybody else.
Do all of you follow?
Aziris is robbing off on me. I'm really sorry. I'll kill it next time.
All right. So, yes, at this point, given that it has been commanded to flee, it is going to go ahead and you all have more than enough movement to continue to stay away from it if you are using your full movement and action for at least 3 rounds to get away.
I think if we're able to, yeah.
All right. We'll see.
Yeah.
It may or may not decide to come back, but for now, it certainly has flown off and left you on your own. So, having now managed to avoid this beast. You continue stalking your way through the Habrock. You continue to head north, and along the roads you see sort of the charred remains where various travelers have camped, hunks of, small fire rings and whatnot as you move along. The day has been long. You come upon the only water source that you've seen for hours now. It's just a small lake off to the side of the road. Fen, you would know from having been through here that a lot of these were pits that were dug and that have just sort of naturally become almost retention areas, but they do tend to be about the only source of water in the vicinity.
Well, I don't know how bad his water skins are. I guess we could try to fill up, and I guess it's approaching. Is it nighttime or is it?
You're getting into late afternoon. You probably have another 2.5 hours before you're reaching the outskirts of Casina.
Okay. It's a spot for fresh water if anybody needs any. I think my water skin's still okay for now since we're approaching town, but
Anara's going to go ahead and fill up her water. Just top it off.
Okay. Anybody else going over to top off water?
Sure.
While they're doing that, Rice is going to check around the immediate area and see if there's any indications of cave entrances.
Okay, they're absolutely not. There's far off in the distance, you can see sort of the cleared slopes of the Haldir, but it's a good hour's walk to the west of you. So, I'm sorry, Cloud, were you going over to refill water?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Maple, were you going over to refill water?
Yes, and Maple will actually mention to Cloud real quick. Cloud, bud, this might be the first time you actually in a while get to actually get a real bath, bud. You might want to go ahead and try it out, at least get some of their dirt off of your paws. What do you think?
It's tempting, Maple, but I'm going to pass. But if you want to, by all means.
Maple is shocked that Cloud is turning down the opportunity to get clean. So she is just standing twiddling her thumbs. She doesn't even know what to say.
Okay.
Anara comes running by and just jumps in.
Okay, Anara, you jump into the water.
Finn.
Yes.
Okay, Fen, go ahead.
Finn just wants to check for any tracks around the water.
Okay, Fen, you see these large areas of earth upheld, sort of giant openings that have burst forth, and as Anara jumps into the water, you see 3 massive insect-like creatures emerge from the earth. Maple, one of them immediately makes an attack on you, sinking its pincers into you. You take 8 slashing damage and 5 acid damage, and you are grappled. Cloud, you have 1 that goes to attack you, and it misses. The second latches onto you, biting through your armor, and does 10 slashing damage and 4 acid damage, and you are grappled. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Oh my god.
second to update them, and I will get all
How
of...
did they get out of the water so fast? Asking.
They weren't in the water. They came
Were
up
not in the
out of the
water.
ground immediately underneath where
see.
you were.
Okay.
It's safer in the water.
That's enough from you.
All right. Over 20.
Anara has a 20.
Okay. 20 to 15.
16, Rice.
Okay. 14 to 10.
15.
Okay. 15
Sorry.
for Cloud. Nobody 14 to 10. All right. Under 10.
8 for Maple.
Maple is an 8.
7 for Finn.
Fen is a 7. Aziris.
Well, you're
4
at
for
10.
Aziris.
4 for Aziris. All right. So let me update Fen's real fast. Fen, you said 7 for you?
Correct.
Whoop. I don't know what just happened there. All right. So, Anara, you are up first. What would you like to do?
Anara is going to pull out her rapier and move over towards the beastie that is, I believe, currently grappling Cloud. Was that correct?
Okay, yeah, the one that is closest to Cloud is the one that has them pincered. The one that is slightly further away is the one that does not.
Okay, so the one right in the middle.
Yep.
Okay, so Anara's gonna move over between Aziris and that beastie.
Okay.
And she's going to cast Booming Blade
Okay,
and make her attack against the beastie.
go for it.
And does an 11 hit.
An 11 does not hit. So as your blade goes to hit, it sort of glances off this thing's natural armor. You connect, but don't do any damage.
Okay, in that case, she is going to use Cunning Action for her bonus action and
Okay.
disengage and move back behind Cloud.
Okay, so back into the water, or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just into the edge of the water.
Okay, easily done. That ends your turn. Rice, you are up. What would you like to do?
Rice is going to draw his sword and charge the one in the middle that has Cloud grappled,
Okay.
and take a swing with his long sword.
What's your movement?
30.
Okay. Yep. You can get there.
And I'm going to have to channel divinity there.
Okay.
To add 10 to that, so it'll be a 21 to hit.
Okay, so you go ahead, you come in, you connect with this creature doing how much damage?
11 damage, and then as he swings and connects, he's going to say, Tres Aslang! And then radiant energy shall pulse through his sword into the creature
Okay.
for... let me find that. 10 damage,
Okay.
and that's his turn.
All right, Cloud, you are currently grappled by this thing. You can act, you can also attempt to break the grapple.
Cloud is going to kind of take their paw and touch it down onto their own wound where the blood is, and take that up and flick it out from their claws and say, "Let's hope that you're not good at talking your way out of problems." And I will cast Bane on all 3 of them, I think, because it's a 30 feet radius, so I think I can get all 3 of them.
I believe you
Wait,
can, but let me
and
double
it-
check that the other one's close enough. I think it is. Yes. Not a
It is
problem.
a charisma saving throw of 13.
Well, these guys are very charismatic.
Very charismatic.
So
Yeah.
we will see. All right, so
Sexy,
I'm gonna
isn't it?
go from the one that has you grappled to the other 2 in order. The one that has you grappled saves. The one that is nearest to you. I'm sorry. What did you say it was? 13.
Charisma 13.
13. All right. The one that is to your right fails. The one that has Maple fails. So those two have Bane on them. And that means they lose a d4, correct?
From all attacks and saving throws.
Okay. Sounds good. You
And
are...
that is my turn.
Yeah, you are grappled. So that is it. Maple, you are grappled. You can attack or you can attempt to break the grapple.
What happens if I attack while I'm grappled?
You can attack while you are grappled. You just remain grappled. You just
Oh.
can't move.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I'm just gonna... Maple is grabbing her great axe for sure, and she'll just address this thing and go into a rage again. Not sorry about this, bud. I prefer paws over claws. So she'll go ahead and... oh no.
Okay.
She will go ahead, attack recklessly, and she'll go ahead and take the -5 too, so we'll see. What was that? Did it? Oh, it went. That's an 18 to hit.
Okay. So your axe slams into this creature, doing how much damage?
16.
Okay. All right, and that ends your turn because you can't go
That
anywhere.
ends my turn. Yup.
All right, Fen. Two of your friends are currently being held in the pincers of these giant monstrosities, large monstrosities, technically.
Yeah. Are two of the monstrosities within 5 feet of each other? The top two, the one has cloud. And
Yeah,
the
they're
one
big enough that they are absolutely within 5 feet of one another.
All right, so Finn is gonna pull out an arrow, and again, whisper to it in Elfish. That might be true. Is gonna cast Hunter's Mark on the one that's holding cloud.
Okay.
And he's gonna release his. He's gonna shoot a bow and release his first arrow on that
Okay.
creature, and that is a 21 to hit.
Okay.
And that is a total of 18 piercing damage on that one.
Okay, so that arrow comes out and manages to find a spot in all of this armored hide and just sinks all the way in. This thing lets out a squeal and opens its jaws and releases cloud as it drops to the ground.
And then with that, he's quickly going to reach back and grab another arrow, knock it, and aim for the one north of it with a regular bow attack.
Okay, go for it.
And that is 20 to hit.
Okay, so now this arrow once again flies, connects, lodges into the flesh, doing
10 piercing.
Okay.
Y'all don't belong in the Hob Rock. And then release it, and that ends Finn's turn.
Are you talking to the Onkegs or to your friends?
I'm talking to the Onkegs.
Okay, just curious. Aziris,
maybe Rice. No,
Aziris, you're up. What would you like to do? Cloud has just been released by an Onkeg. Maple is still grappled. There is another one to the north of where Cloud is.
Cool. He is probably the reason why he was last in initiative order here is because he immediately started muttering to himself, again, still frustrated, mostly about how his wizard spells aren't working. But he is going to attempt to cast a flaming sphere. And for his bonus action, he is going to try and slam it into the northmost one.
Okay.
Hopefully stopping it within 5 feet of the other one and not within 5 feet of Rice, so that it can hopefully also take damage.
Okay, well, the one that is closest to Rice is dead.
You're right, never mind. Just slamming it into the top one.
Okay.
Cool. I am going to need a dexterity saving throw, DC 12.
Okay, with a nat
Minus a D4.
with a nat 1, it doesn't need to
Oh,
minus
darn
4.
it.
So I will assume that the
Beautiful.
Bane carried over to my dice tray. So
Well
so
done.
This burst of energy crashes into it, doing how much damage?
9 fire damage.
9 fire damage. Okay. Are you going to stay
And
there?
then- Nope, he is going to back up, trotting through a little bit of the water and getting a couple steps to the right of Maple. Just kind of in the back.
All right.
No, not that close to the, like one more over. Yeah.
All right.
And that's his turn.
That ends your turn. Okay. The Ankeg that has just been hit with this burst of energy, seeing all of this, is going to go ahead and spit acid at Cloud and Anara. I need each of you to give me a dex save. You're trying to beat a 13.
Ah, I rolled a 5.
Okay.
I hiss.
Would you believe I got a 13?
That's totally reasonable. Cloud, you take 8 points of acid damage, and Anara, you take 4 points of acid damage.
It's in my eyes. It's in my eyes.
The goggles, they do nothing. All right. It is now the other Ankeg's turn. Maple, it has you still grappled, so it is going to bite down again. Nine and 3 is 12. So you take 12 slashing damage plus 2 acid damage, and it is going to use its movement to attempt...
Did you bane its attack? I'm sorry.
I will roll it again.
It's
but
my annoying
the,
obligation.
the 1 did not drop it enough, so...
Ah!
14 halved?
So, yes. You are raging.
No, I mean, like, was that halved? Like, was it 28?
Oh, no, that was the total
Okay.
damage, so you should have it.
Whoa.
But it is going to use its full movement and begin burrowing underground. So it can only burrow at 10 feet per turn. So at this point, you are just starting to disappear underground. And that will
Oh.
end its turn. The other one is dead. Top of the round, Anara, you're up. Maple
All
is
right.
almost underground right now.
So seeing that Maple is slowly disappearing, Anara is going to rush over there and what do I want to do? Use Booming Blade again with her rapier and do another strike at the Ankeg.
Okay. I'm sorry, which one were you going towards? The one...
The one holding Maple.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make your attack.
All right. Does a 15 hit?
A 15 just hits.
All right, and since it's currently got Maple, that would qualify for sneak attack, correct?
Yeah, sure.
So that would be a total of 16 points of damage.
Okay. All
And
right.
anytime it moves, it takes another 1d8.
Okay. That ends your turn. Or are you gonna move back?
Yeah, that ends my turn. I'm gonna
Okay.
stay right there.
All right, Rice. There is an Ankeg to the north of you that has just sprayed acid over your sister and Cloud, and there is another one that is attempting to drag Maple down into the earth. What would you like to do?
Rice is going to chase after that ant egg, and he's going to dive with his sword and try and thrust it into the ant head before it gets away.
Okay.
Does a 24 hit?
24 hits. Yeah, you.
And
I will let you go ahead and roll it with advantage because you can take a flanking position with Inara.
Yeah, that'd still be a 24. So,
Okay.
As soon as he feels like he's connecting, he just lets out a, and then there is divine energy that pumps through his sword as he lets out a divine smite for an additional 5 damage.
I'm sorry, what was the total then?
15.
15 points of damage. This thing's looking really rough. It's squirming a little bit. It hasn't quite let go, but it's looking rough. Does that end your turn?
It does. Yes,
Okay.
I'm done.
Cloud, what would you like to do? You have been sprayed by acid.
Well, I wipe it out of my eyes. Is the one that's above
That's a
me
free
still
action,
alive?
so you're
Great.
fine with that.
Great, awesome.
Yeah.
I have
Yes, the
other
one to the
plans.
north of you is the one that is still in combat.
Okay, but the other one is still disappearing with Maple.
Correct.
Okay. Ooh. Am I in melee too
Yep.
with this? I'm engaged with this guy. Yeah, I thought so. Cloud will take the quarterstaff and thwap the insect with the quarterstaff.
Okay.
And
Go for it.
be like, bad.
Make
Well, just see if it
make a
works.
thwacking attack.
I'll make a thwack attack. It's a 13. Probably doesn't hit.
13 plus 1 or just a 13?
Well,
Did you-
I added it into D&D Beyond as a +1 quarterstaff, so I assumed that it would automatically add the +1. But
Yes. So yes, you go to swing and you hit it, but it doesn't seem to have any effect.
Okay. Then for my bonus action, I will be like, maybe it's broken, and I will cast a spiritual weapon and pull
Okay.
out my feather cat toy instead.
Outstanding. Go for it.
Try to hit it with that.
Okay.
And that is a 24 to hit.
Okay. So your magical cat toy appears, the feather dangling. The Ankeg looks up at it, very interested, as it then suddenly takes this massive blast of energy right
Nice.
into its face. For how much damage?
10 points of force damage.
Okay. It is shocked by this and now covered in glitter. Does that end your turn?
That is in my turn.
Okay. Maple, you are still in the clutches of this creature. What would you like to do?
I mean, if I'm underground, can I swing?
You can attack. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
what the mechanics were.
Yeah, you are allowed to make an attack against this thing.
Okay. So yeah, Maple is going all out. She does not get the benefits of flanking because they're not on the same, like, she's 10 feet underground. Does that still count?
I'm gonna say that you will still get the advantage of flanking because your friend is opposite you. Why not? Again, I'm very liberal with flanking, so
All right.
I'm not gonna suddenly not be.
Then she's not gonna have to recklessly attack, which is good. And she's just swinging with her axe. She is peeved. That's only an 11.
And
That's not.
11 misses. So with this weird positioning and being pulled underground, you try to kind of take a short swing and just can't get enough energy behind it to do much of anything. That ends your turn, right?
Yeah, it has to. Oops.
Okay, Fen. What would you like to do?
Finn's gonna look left, right, except I think I'm doing that backwards, but he's gonna, it's like, oh, and then just choose the one at north,
Okay.
with that has the cat toy,
Okay.
and is gonna whisper as he pulls an arrow out, move his hunter's mark,
Okay.
to that one, and release an arrow.
All right. So that arrow flies out and...
That is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, so it sinks in deep. It finds a nice groove in that natural armor and sinks in, doing how much damage?
That does a total of 13 piercing damage.
And this one now lets out a squeal and clunks to the ground, unable to continue.
And then with his movement after that, he's going to sprint as far as he can towards Maple being carried underground. And he's got 35 feet of movement.
Okay. Easily done. All right, Aziris. There is now one Ankeg hauling your friend underground. The other two are dead. What would you like to do?
Well, first and foremost, I forgot that at the end of any creature within 5 feet of the sphere, at the end of their turn, they also need to make a dex saving throw again.
Okay.
So don't let me forget that in the future because I'm very forgetful.
Okay.
But he is going to, as a bonus action, move his flaming sphere. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Cool. About 10 feet south of Fen and just have it at the ready in case this thing comes back up.
Okay.
Nothing else he can do would really help in this situation since everybody is crowding around the other Ankeg and he doesn't want to hit his friends. So, that's gonna be his turn.
That ends your turn. All right, Maple, this creature that has you in its grasp is going to make another bite attack. It, even though it's crushing down, somehow you manage to be in such a position where it can't squeeze anymore. Like it's just, your axe is in the way and kind of jamming up its teeth, so it can't close those pincers all the way down. It is going to go ahead and use its movement to drag you down. So it is now just underground. You can still see it for the rest of you, but it is just underground and beginning to dig. Anara, you're up. What would you like to do?
With its movement.
Oh, it takes
he
Booming Blade.
1d8.
Roll it.
So that is 6 points of thunder damage.
And as that thunder damage hits, it squeals and opens its jaw. Dead.
Yes.
Rice walks over to Maple and tries to grab her by the arm and haul her out of the dirt.
Okay, easily done. So
Then just like, I know we've been talking about having to go underground, Maple, but we didn't mean that literally.
Not yet, anyways.
Maple,
Oh my God.
you're too good at making friends, is what it is, really. So you should relax on that.
This episode of Maple Goes Spelunking did not go well.
it didn't go well at all. You didn't get very far. So you have 3 dead Ankegs at your feet.
Lovely.
What were
Aziris
those?
is-
That was awful. Go ahead, Aziris.
Sorry. Aziris just releases his flaming sphere
Okay.
and just kind of huffs.
Okay.
Nara just backs up to the water and starts washing all the guts off.
Finn just kind of looks at these Ankegs, just kind of giving them a little kick, not sure what they are, how they got into Hobrock, and just kind of look them over, see what they're about.
Sure. Do you want to do an investigation check, or are you just kind of...
I'll do an investigation check.
All right. Give me a roll.
That is a 12.
All right. So you can tell that they are reasonably naturally armored. And you would think from looking at them and kind of getting a sense of them that they probably would do really well underground. So they probably would have dark vision. You can see where this sort of liquid is dripping off of them. And as it hits the little bit of grasses and whatnot that are around, it begins to singe and burn.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Mm-hmm. Aziris is still just muttering to himself over in the corner there.
Okay.
As Cloud wipes acid off of themselves, be like, too bad we don't have vials.
I think since Aziris is already muttering, Maple is also muttering next to Aziris and kind of pacing back and forth. I hate bugs. I hate bugs so much, but I really hate bugs. They're not fun. I do not if you guys let me go underground one more time, but I swear to goodness, I am absolutely gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it, and she's still in a rage. So
Okay.
she's not having a good time.
To be perfectly honest, I thought that Aurora was the one in trouble in that situation. But
Well,
Cloud, I think the next time that someone is dragging Maple underneath the earth, I think it's a good idea to prioritize, and that's for everyone. I think at this point, it's Maple can't breathe under the dirt. Just
well, I wasn't
going to
I
assume.
mean, I was the only one with that other on keg, so I had to I didn't want to get hit.
It clearly looked scared of you because of your poofy fur, so I wasn't worried about you at all.
I mean, you'd be surprised how that unhelpful the fur really is sometimes. It really doesn't work in my favor a lot of times.
Oh.
But if it works on you, that's great to know. I'll write that down.
Definitely. Finn, we're camping here, right? Since we're so comfortable.
I think we still have time. I guess that y'all used to ask me about bathing, but maybe you see the perils of it now. So Chris, yes, we still have some daylight, right?
You've still got enough daylight that you would estimate that you can go ahead and reach Casina if you keep moving.
We could probably still make it to town. I don't know if we'd want to camp here, considering these things came up underground.
Well, we could do a short break and then continue on.
The DM would love if you camped here. Just saying.
If y'all want to do a short rest just to gather yourselves, I know maybe get some of that burning stuff out of your fur. That's fine by me. We should just be wary.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out, but I think a short rest might be good for those of us that got a little banged up there.
Easily done. You can all go ahead and take a short rest.
Ooh.
Because I'm very benevolent, there will not be an attack during your short rest. There will not be an attack during your short rest.
During this break, Aziris just kind of plops it down and immediately gets his books out. It's still muttering. I don't think he's stopped this entire time. And he just starts going over his wizard spells, trying to really, really get them down.
Okay.
I'll go wander over, if it's okay.
And Finn will just see if any of the arrows he shot are recoverable to be reusable or not.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a D4 roll, and you can recover how many you roll.
Aziris, are you trying to learn a new spell?
4.
You recover 4 arrows.
Aziris looks up to Cloud and just kind of sighs dejectedly. No, I mean, yes, always, but these new spells are so weak. It's nothing like I used to do. I'm frustrated.
Do you normally learn spells from a book? I always they just come to me in the morning. I don't know how it works.
The wizard spells that I am learning, yes, but all of my old magic that I don't have anymore was gifted to me and was rightfully taken away.
Oh, so what? You can't really do magic?
Nothing like I used to.
Oh, that must be really hard.
He just kind of huffs again, looks down at his book.
Cloud just stands there, also looking at their feet, not knowing how to help.
Okay. So you all finish your short rest without any other molestation by the local flora or fauna, and set off down the road again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make our way.
So as you move for about another hour, and as you're coming up to a crossroads, Fen, you've passed this way before, and you know that if you were to hook east, this would take you along sort of it would take you out to the northern edge of the Habrock Peninsula and head out towards the east. If you continue north is where you head straight down the road into Casina, just getting up into the Commonwealth. At this crossroads, as you're approaching, you see this large cart off to the side of the road, and sitting on a tripod-looking stool, tending a small kettle hung above a fire, is this absolutely massive-looking human being. He's just huge and burly. He's got long sort of blonde brown hair. His arms are very hairy. Chest is very hairy from where you can see it. He's got a cloak kind of up over him. Up above him is this incredibly colorful tarp that's stretched out, and he has 2 large draft horses that have been sort of let to just wander and graze a little bit in the area. And as you approach, he, "Hail."
Well, hell, how are things? Everything quiet on the road?
"Things are well. What have you?"
Well, there have been some critters about south on our way. We had fight some kind of insect things came out of the ground. Hadn't really run into them before.
Ah, yes.
What about yourself? What are you setting up here? Are you waiting for someone?
Just but a wanderer. There are a few practitioners of the arcane in the east. I wander that direction for those who have call for it.
Oh, so you're like a magic supplier or something?
Something like that. Yes. Wares and services.
Oh. Azir's, we should see what he has.
Nara's right over there with
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Well, hello. What do you need?
What do you have?
I have much to offer. What kinds of things are you looking for? Everything from spells, potions, services. What might you
First
need?
of all, Chris, can I just say thank you for giving us a bear? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anyways, spells. What kind of spells do you have?
Well, there are different kinds, and the materials you would need for them. What in particular are you looking for?
Great question.
Okay.
Can you grind up gems into dust?
Yes, that's something I can do.
Oh, I would love that so much. And Cloud will
50 gold.
See if to grind them up. What kind is it? Just like smashing a couple rocks together?
Have you tried to grind gems?
I seem so oppressed. I'll just mutter after my breath.
You can attempt to persuade him.
I'll wait and see what other people do.
Okay.
By chance have any phosphorus? Or maybe some witchwood?
I have phosphorus. How much do you need?
I think 5 gold ought to do it. Just need to replenish some supplies.
All right, easily done.
For your spells, what do you have that is not an attack? That's me laughing, not him. I'm sorry.
Ask for what you want. I can tell you off the top of my head, or I can go look at the scrolls.
I just want a list to pick from. I just looked at these spells. I don't know.
You have a list to pick from.
I'm looking.
Let me see your rubies.
And Anara hands out a small handful of them.
He does not reach for them at all. He looks at them. Where did you get these? If you don't mind my
Very
asking.
far from here. Like inside
much-
the belly of something.
Do you know what these are?
They look like rubies to me.
These were not
Why?
given to you.
No, we discovered them.
What do you know of the promissories?
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with those.
I see.
What is that? What was the word?
Promissories.
Promissories.
Well,
Would be very interested to find out for a education fee, I suppose.
he extends a paw-like hand in your direction. It's a massive
Right.
hand.
Literal bear.
Rice hands him 10 gold and says, I was also thinking that since Cloud here, their paws are so sore from all the pawing around that they've been doing lately, that maybe you would want to give them a discount, since we're such good pals out here.
Let me explain this a bit, and you can decide if you want to grind these or not.
Very well.
I don't know where you got these, but I am going to caution you. These are what's known as fractured rubies. They're a currency of a particular kind of people. They are...
Necromancers, by chance?
He looks at you. No. He looks at Fen. The kind of people who set about conquering land and peoples. They are not people to cross.
So you mean, these are normally bribes for secret alliances and things like that for politicians? What do you mean by that?
Yes, I also don't understand.
Have you ever seen an army on the march?
Once or twice.
Is it easy to feed and equip an army? Is it inexpensive?
Depends on how much you want to hunt and hurt people, but I understand your point.
There are expenses involved in that sort of work. Gold is heavy. It's very difficult to drag around the tons of gold that one would need to finance such an operation. These
I don't know if he's
have...
being truthful.
You make an insight check.
He sounds like he's like, might be not. At all. That's a 20.
Okay. You absolutely believe every word that's coming out of his mouth.
Okay, he just sounds creepy.
creepy bear.
This is
Just my type.
these.
You stunned the DM. He needs to.
All right, I made my wisdom save. I'm fine. I can continue. These. This is.
While these other conversations are going on, Anara's just kind of, with her foot, she's going to just kind of draw a couple of symbols in the dirt.
Are you
Using
trying?
cats.
Are you trying to be surreptitious about this?
Not really looking up at him, just kind of casually standing there, just kind of drawing these symbols with my feet, just kind of like it's almost.
Are you trying
almost
to make
kinda
sure?
Like lazily...
Are you worried about if he sees it or not?
No, I'm hoping he does.
Okay. He glances over and sees what you're doing.
Okay.
He pays it no mind.
He doesn't understand thieves' cant. Okay.
He pays it no mind.
Okay.
These are how wars are funded. I don't know where you
Question.
got them, but I would be wary of who you try to give them to. If you need one ground, I can grind one for you, but I would recommend you be very cautious with these.
Understood.
Okay, maybe you should grind them all. How much of a discount do we get? Because 50 gold is like a lot.
What do you think would be fair?
Well, if you want to explain the process to me, I could get a better idea of like how much I think it's actually worth. But in my head, I feel like you just take like a machine or something and you go krrr, and you grind it, and then it costs like, I don't know, 5 gold maybe max. Why does it cost 50?
Have you manufactured arcane or divine items?
Of course not. Look at me.
I do not presume. It is not so simple as smashing it with stones. There's a process involved. And were you to want to learn that process, I could teach you, but it would take some time. I don't know if you care to stay here, but your friend has paid 10 for an education, and I'm fairly certain that these are going to bring you nothing but misfortune in general. So, 15 more. 25 total for the lesson and the grinding.
That seems fair. I'll try to pay attention for the lesson.
Okay.
Cloud, he just gave the lesson.
Oh, okay.
So he goes, he takes your 15 gold and...
If it's okay with you, Anara.
Of course.
Yeah, if we could just grind 50 gold worth of rubies, that'd be great.
He takes one ruby and hefts it in his hand. I can grind the whole thing if you wish.
Sure, if it's, I don't
Okay.
know, unless Anara has any.
Well, we've got 600 of these, so I think one should be fine.
Okay.
He, hearing you say that, looks at you.
Well, I say this very quietly to Cloud.
You can't say it quietly enough. He's got pretty good perception. He looks at you and looks at all 6 of you. I will grind this for you, but you need to understand, because I don't know what you've gotten into. This stone, and he holds this ruby up, is worth roughly 200 gold.
Well, it's so kind of you to tell us.
Yes, thank you.
If you have come upon so many of these, you need to be wary. People will be looking for you. And at
We'll
that,
be
he
very
is going
cautious.
to go into the cart. He opens a back door on the cart, steps up inside, closes the door. You hear some muttering and some incantation. A couple of minutes later, he comes back, and there's a leather pouch. And Cloud, he hands it over to you. Look. And inside is 200 gold worth of powdered ruby.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. The information as well as the assistance. Aziris,
Right.
did you have something else?
Right. Thank you for all of your information, first of all. For any of the spells that you have, which you happen to have, and I'm just gonna list them.
Mm-hmm.
Invisibility, Ray of Enfeeblement, or I lost my other one. Ray of Sickness. Those are the
Sure.
three that you'd be looking for.
$30 for the scroll, 60 bucks for the material, or 60 gold for the material to copy it. So 90 gold a spell.
Okay, cool.
You
That
can-
includes the second level spells, same price. Okay. In that case, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking indecisive. I think he will take a Ray of Enfeeblement.
That's fine. You can just tell me how many. And
Cool. A 1.
okay, so just deduct 90 gold, and that gets you
Gladly.
the ink, the parchment, and the spell scroll to copy from.
Beautiful.
Friend, I had a couple of questions for you about the city, Casina.
Go ahead.
You often there?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Right. Me and my friend over here, well, my friends, will we be looked at twice when we walk in there? Of course. Right.
You and her and him and your tabaxi friend will get some sidelong glances, but nothing like the other three of you.
And Maple, because she's so large, right?
I think she'll be fitting in just fine.
Hmm. And then my other question was, where in the city normally are people who look like me?
There aren't many. The ones that come through tend to be part of the delegations that come out of Antar. And Fen, you would know Antar as being one of the major cities in the Politia.
Last question.
Hmm.
What do you know about the lodge in the Vanguard?
I've
Nothing?
never heard of it.
I heard it was a good bar or something. I don't know.
Many good bars.
Do you recommend one?
He thinks for a minute. There's an establishment called the Zovra. I've stayed there. It's nice.
Who normally frequents that establishment? Sort of people? Is it a mixed bag, or is it people that look like us, or people that look like you?
People who look like me.
So it's a bear bar.
You might say.
A bar full of bears. Well, the mug's very large then.
Very
What about the beds?
luscious.
Oh, I like it already. Is there anything we should know for the gate, like getting through border security type of thing? Outside of what Fen already told us.
I wouldn't mention the rubies.
We'll keep that on the
I
down
feel like
low.
we feel kind of that message seems pretty clear.
Now that everybody has gotten a chance to do the real business, let me describe Maple real quick. She is currently pigeon-toed, rolling on the balls of her feet back and forth while swinging her axe between her legs, and just kind of, like looking up kind of sheepishly at this very large bear of a man.
Me too.
She will look him straight in his eyes with kind of like a puppy dog look on her face. Okay, sir, I gotta say, you're the most handsome thing I've seen in a long time, other than my new friends here. So I was just wondering, do you have anything by chance for memory loss? I know that's probably a long shot, and it might not be something that I can buy. I'm not good with money anyway, though, so you can go ahead, and if it is anything, it would be like a cost to us, then Cloud actually handles our wallet. So just go ahead and go to them.
Tell me, you don't have memories?
I mean, I do. They just don't go back very far.
I see. He looks to you, Cloud. Has she always been like this?
Ever since we met, which was, I don't know, how many weeks ago? Has it been weeks?
About a week.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
About a week.
They both have memory problems.
It's true. The real truth is I don't really care about time. I don't really care.
It's just a construct anyway.
Yeah.
It's not something that's commonly seen. If you think it's disease, restoration might help. If it's something else, it may take far more than simple healing.
Okay, good to know, bud. You just seem like you know a lot of things, so I just thought I would, shoot my shot there. Otherwise, do you have anything that might help me protect my friends any better? I do just fine with my axe. I've been really working on my self-esteem, thanks to my buds here. I don't doubt my abilities, but, it would always be nice to have something a little bit more hurty. Things that come out of nowhere, such as bugs in the ground. And she winces a little bit.
I do not care for them either. I do not traffic in weapons. It brings much difficulty coming and going from the Commonwealth. I have a ring of protection that I could sell. I don't know if it's in your price range.
Oh, well, I mean, I totally understand why you don't deal in things that hit, those guns on your arms are surely enough for you, but I know a thing or two about arm wrestling. I know a good set of guns when I see them, but otherwise, I have no idea truly how much of anything that we have, so you can go ahead and ask Cloud. But even so, I think I would feel a little bit bad for spending all of our money anyway.
Out of curiosity, how much is it?
5,000 gold.
Oh my God.
Maybe later we'll think about it. Just put it up there in my head. I'll remember it.
Would you by chance take a few rubies for it?
I do not want to have these on my person.
Worth a shot.
We may be better off grinding all of them. Well, you've been very nice, sir. I most appreciate your honesty and helpfulness. One thing that I want to ask real quick is,
Please.
do you by chance sell diamonds too?
I can
Okay.
sell you diamond.
Well,
How much
I don't
do you
have a
need?
need for them right now, actually, but just wanted to know for later.
If we cross paths again, be sure to ask.
Sure.
I do have a question, and perhaps you can provide me with a service.
I
I'd
can
like
try.
to see if you can magically acquire the location of the other end of this sending stone, and then he pulls it out and shows it to him.
Stand by.
And if you could, I wonder if perhaps we could find out who it is.
This research pause is brought to you by Forbidden Rubies. Forbidden Rubies.
Rubies.
For
Don't
all
show
the
them to anyone.
Speaking of rubies, just for cast knowledge, we currently have $120,000 or 120,000 gold
thought-
worth of rubies.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
no-
throw up.
Yeah, you do. You
Like,
do.
no,
You actually
Not-
took like 60.
probably not for
Yeah.
long.
Just gonna the Umberbud house. We can just put down the mortgage and
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
right?
He looks at you. I can try. You are looking at a not inexpensive spell to cast.
What would it cost us?
Normally, I would say 150 gold. Do you think the person on the other end of this is related to these rubies?
No.
No.
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. This was someone that was sent after us, but I'm not quite certain their motivations, and I'd just like to know if, most importantly, they're a part of an exciting criminal organization. I'm starting a new line of. I'm just kidding, but if they are in a criminal organization, I'd like to know before meeting them.
You're just kidding or kitten?
Yes.
I was
Um,
kidding.
make a persuasion roll.
Oof. Only 10.
All right. I think you may be in over your head in a few things, so I will attempt to help you with this. However, I make no guarantees of its success.
Fair
The
enough.
individual on the other end may or may not. I may not be able to do this, but I will try.
Sounds fine. Fine with me. You want to?
If I succeed, 150. If I fail, I fail. You're out nothing.
Rice looks to the others. I think it's worth the price, personally.
I would agree. It would be better to know who's on the other end of this.
Pitching
Okay.
in for that. What is your name, by the way? I don't think any of us asked.
Bjorn.
Bjorn. Figured it starts with a B.
You're very wise.
Beyond the bear.
All right.
Exactly what
So
I'm
now I
writing
have
down.
to do math real fast.
Well, I wrote Magic Bear, so.
The brawny bear.
Ooh, brawny Magic Bear.
All right.
Has to go on the paper
Actually,
towel
I'm gonna
roll.
do this. Who has the best wisdom modifier?
I'm willing to bet it's
I.
me with a +3.
Not the warlock.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's the same as Cloud, so I think
All
the
right.
cleric would be best.
Cloud, give me a wisdom save. You are rolling the save
Wouldn't
of...
it be a wisdom check?
Not in this case. Give me a wisdom save. You are rolling for the individual that he is attempting to scry on. So, the
Okay.
DC is a 16. So you're throwing a save for somebody else.
Can I don't understand why I'm rolling it. Can I cast guidance on myself?
Sure.
Okay, then I do.
You wouldn't want to do that
Why?
Well,
because you're rolling for somebody else.
Oh.
the DM is having you roll for the person that's being spied
I
upon.
see.
Right.
I do
Rather
not
than me
understand.
make the save.
Thank you for stopping me.
I want
You
you to
can-
make the save
I
You
will
can-
not cast guidance
so
on
that we're
Also-
all on the same page.
Cast Bane. Can I
You-
cast Bane on myself?
No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Cast
cast
guidance on
but
Bjorn.
You would know it's guidance.
Oh, that's a natural 1.
Yes.
So
Since I'm not rolling with advantage.
Bjorn looks at this stone and holds it. He begins going through a spell casting ritual. You see he reaches into his pocket and retrieves some material components. He's gesturing about, he's talking, and he stops. He looks up. You are the person on the other end of this is very wealthy. I do not know him. I've never seen him. But wherever he is now is a place of high regard. The columns are gilded in gold. The windows are beautiful, etched material. He is currently wearing a very fine set of clothing.
Did you see any house or family emblems or anything like that that might be identifying?
No. He's tall. Looks human. I would guess he's in his perhaps early 50s. It's hard to say. He has some years to him, but he's not worn. Paler skin. More like, and he points at Maple, more like her skin tone. He's writing. He's not speaking to anybody. There's no one else in the room.
All right. And very well. I did not think that would go so well. However, I believe I owe you some money, and Rice is gonna pull out 50 gold.
We'll add another 50 to that.
I can put in 50.
Okay.
I appreciate you doing all of that. And would you happen to know if the delegation from Easterlin has been in Castina lately?
There was talk that there was a group through several weeks ago. 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't know exactly. It's not a circle I move in, but there are often discussions of trade.
Thank you. And have there been any rumors? I'll pay you for this as well, but have there been any rumors of raiding at all from some of the drow?
Not that
My
I've
local
heard
area.
of.
Very well. They'll pass over another 5 gold just for.
He waves you off.
I just a curious question. Do you have any kind of like I've heard that there's like these bags that you can put stuff in that then you can carry more than's normal. Is that something that you happen to carry? And I have no idea how much that costs. It might be probably way out of my price range, but
It's something I come across from time to time. I do not have an item like that currently. If we meet on the road again, perhaps.
well,
Do you just stay here or do you move around? Sorry, Finn.
I move about selling my wares. My path now is going to be east and south, but
well, if we do run into each other, I'd be curious. If we do run into, I'd like to hear about what's going on east and south. I've heard I haven't really made it that far before, and do appreciate you explain this information to us, and also enlighten us on these promissories. As you can guess, something we stumbled upon, nothing that we, So thank you for enlightening us.
if we come upon each other again and you have your heads, I will relay any information I have.
I appreciate that. If we run into each other and we don't have our heads, then that might not be good for anybody. You too, because we'd be walking around headless yet still walking.
Would not faze me.
That was a good one, Finn.
Johan, you said you were traveling south and east. Would that by chance be anywhere in the direction of Melamar?
Perhaps, eventually.
If you by chance see a traveling group of wood elves, would you be kind enough to look in on them? Just to
Or
see how
maybe
they're
just
doing.
let us know that you saw them.
They're refugees. We passed them on the way.
I see.
We're not necessarily friends, but Fenn has a friend with them. But
He thinks for a minute. Give me a moment. And he
Well,
goes.
after here, I feel like we should all go into the city, right? Oh, sorry, I thought you were taking time, Chris.
He goes and goes into the cart and comes back out. Who of you is in charge here?
Not quite sure that we've actually developed a leader. of
All right.
sorts.
Who is the least likely to end up dead?
Maybe a fan.
Probably Maple.
I think it all depends on where you are at a given time.
Right.
If I could ask why you're asking that question, we've all.
I'll bear the burden. What is it?
He looks at you. I don't know that you will survive long enough for this to be of use.
If you're looking for a way to communicate with us, if you make it down there, I'd appreciate it because they are my people. If that's what you're getting at.
He produces for you a stone that looks very much like the one that you had seen. I can offer you this. You can contact me with it, I can contact you with it. But I would need something from you in return.
Well, you obviously have something in mind. You can go ahead and let us know.
I would like a lock of your hair.
Of everybody's hair or just mine?
Just yours.
Well, may I ask, you're not going to put like some voodoo juju curse on me or anything like that, are you?
No curses, but if you call, I want to be able to be sure that I can see who's calling and from where and who they have with them.
That's...
I feel like a ladder would be like, I don't know, like...
Why not, Fen? Let's just implicitly trust this stranger that we've just met. I mean, he already knows that we're criminals and we have an immense amount of rubies and...
Your mouth, Bryce. I don't know. He's right. You're not going to survive the next 2 days if you keep up saying that. I don't know what to say to you. One, I don't know why you're calling us criminals. Two, but anyway, and then with that, he just reached out his dagger, cuts off a lock of his hair, gives it to Bjorn. And says, now, I'm not going to bother you much, but if you do make it down to Mirador, see if Malmar, see if a man named Cassius is there. He was going to try to help guide some folks out of there after some happenings in Hosties.
Very well. Call me, and he hands you the stone. If I can be of assistance, I will do what I can. You 6, you don't seem to know what you've gotten yourselves into, but be careful.
Likewise to you. And thank you.
Been very kind. Thank you so much for all of your assistance.
Good luck.
I think we'll need it. And I'll head towards
I think you will too.
I think we'll be fine.
He just laughs. He just laughs.
Thank you, Bjorn.
Thanks, I hate it.
So you set off on the road again?
Yes, but in that regard, I'd like to speak to Anara as we travel.
Easily done.
Anara, what are you going to do with those rubies? Because they're going to search you like crazy when we come into town, probably.
If they have a reason to search me.
They do. You're a drow coming into a territory frequently attacked by drow.
When I come into town, they won't see a drow.
Okay.
Anara, you really ought to just ditch the rubies. Let's be realistic here. If it's a major city, then they have magic. If they have magic, then they're going to see your illusion. Let's not get arrested at the gates, at least. Maybe we'll get a little harassed and a little beat up, but I don't think it's worth the rubies at this point.
I'll take my chances.
Anara, you're being unreasonable because it's not your chances, it's everyone's chances.
If you want to go through the gate by yourself, like a couple hours after us, then I'm totally okay with it.
Either before or after, I'm fine.
All right.
Anara, I don't think that's a very good idea at all.
Well, I gotta ask, what do you expect to do with those?
I'm going to see if I can find a good hiding place for them.
Well, I mean, after that, if it's not a form of currency we can spend, or...
With this much in wealth, I think we can definitely find a good use for them.
You have to be able to change it to a currency we can use, though.
They're already currency. as
No-
Bjorn was saying, if we find the right people, maybe we can use that as our currency.
Anara, I'm telling you this. This is difficult for me to say, Anara, but you're being very naive, and understanding what those rubies are now. We do need to get rid of them. I might make jokes, but this is not a joke. You need to get rid of the rubies.
I see no joke,
I
but I'm
agree
not
with
just going to
Rice.
toss them away.
It,
I
it
plan to
doesn't
hide
matter.
them. I plan to hide them so that they can still be of use to us and not to others.
And they hide them before we get to the gate.
Oh, obviously.
Okay, well, if you want, we can, commit that to memory then, because I just feel really unsettled about carrying that in, because I just feel like we'll have some scrutiny. And so, okay, well, if you're planning to hide them and so that we're not going into this territory with that, okay, okie doke.
I would not trust them to be safe in our possession while we're in the city. But I plan to keep them in our possession, at least accessible to us.
Okay. So you walk for about another hour. The towers of Casina come into view first, and then the tops of the walls begin to come into view. You are getting progressively closer. Fen, at this point, you would estimate that you're probably about a mile from the checkpoint.
Okay. Well, we're coming up to the checkpoint all.
Okay.
All right.
And at that point, Anara kind of gets off the road, kind of goes behind a tree or whatever she can find for cover, and casts Disguise Self.
Okay.
When she comes back out to where the rest of the party can see her, she now looks like a very close approximation of Verona, only with dark hair and a purple jacket.
Okay. You wouldn't be quite as tall as Verona, but you'd be getting close, so that's fine.
Mhm.
All right.
Well, as close of approximation as
Yeah,
Anara can get.
close. Yeah. Okay.
Are you
have the
sure?
rubies too while you were over there?
Oh yeah, they're well hidden.
I'll insight check that.
Rice is going to put on gloves to conceal his hand tattoos.
Okay. So Nara, go ahead and make a deception check.
I did not roll as well as I wanted to.
You absolutely believe it. So
Now, Anara, if they see through this, you know that we probably won't be able to get in, right?
If they do, then I'll drop it. If they don't, we'll just keep going.
All right. Well, what I mean is, if you drop it, that's probably the end of the road.
Well, I could just say that I was just nervous coming to the territory for the first time.
Okay.
Anara, you're not understanding Fen. They might
I
kill
understand.
you. And
I
me.
understand him.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you're if they see through it, I just want to make sure that you're ready to say something like you were worried about appearing maybe as a drow because we're going into a city, something like that. Because
That's exactly what I was going to say.
this is a border point between territories that have largely been at conflict. So, all righty then. Is everybody ready? Maybe we can find a town where we don't get kicked out of. Maybe we can't even get in, but we'll see.
okay. Are you going to attempt to go in as a group? Are you going in pockets, pairs?
Nara will go in first.
Okay.
On her own.
All right. How are the rest of you going to try and do this?
I'm gonna go. I'm definitely going to go with a group, whoever wants to go, including, especially want to make sure I go with Rice and Mirage.
Okay. All right.
Rice is going to tell the others that he's with. So despite my appearances, I've been hired as a guide for some of the best routes to avoid true elf raiders. And I'm not from Easterland anymore. Good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
So the other 5 of you are going in as a group. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So you walk just a little bit further, and about 300 yards or so from the main wall, you see that there's roughly 20 soldiers standing about on guard. A couple up close to the road talking to anybody who's coming or going. There are a pair of towers, each with a pair of guards with heavy crossbows in them. Slightly off to the distance of the ones who are right up on the road itself, the others who are around carry an assortment of hand crossbows and glaives. All of them have long swords at their side. Anara, you're going first?
Yes.
All right. As you approach, guard, halt, state your business.
Just coming in for a visit. I'm from the south and wanted to see what casino was about. Just here for pleasure, no business.
Where you staying?
I was hoping to find a nice inn. Do you by chance have any recommendations?
There's a bunch in there. You'll find one. All right. Go on.
Thank you kindly. And Anara moves on.
All right. The rest of you walk up as a group. State your business.
We're coming into town, leaving the south. Maybe look for some employment. Things along that matter. We got a cleric here who's interested in learning more from some of the temples and other things.
What's with him? Points to Rice.
Oh, well, I know his appearance, but we've actually worked together at times doing some guide parties and stuff. He's not really associated with most of his people now.
Is that right?
Rice pulls out his medallion of the moon and bow and puts it in front and taps it.
Make a persuasion check.
At advantage? Because we're
Sure, you've got 5 people with you. They could all cast help.
25.
All right. He looks at you. All right. Enjoy the party.
Thank you.
Get on your way.
I guess we'll
Deep breaths.
cross on through and exhale.
You walking past the front, walking past the guard post. You are approaching. As you are coming up to the city wall, the wall itself is a good 30 feet tall. Atop the walls are another almost 20 soldiers on patrol, each of them carrying crossbows. The entrance itself is a large gated opening. The gates are open. There are 8 soldiers on the ground outside of the gates. People are coming and going. This area outside of the walls is there's some minor trade that happens out here. There's some very simple farming, some sort of tenant plots that you see. People are milling about. As you see people coming and going from the town, nobody's being talked to by the guards at the gates. People are just kind of coming and going freely. And as you approach the city and get ready to walk in, that's where we're going to end for this evening. So, thank you all for joining us this evening for our adventure in Umbranthal. We will see where our adventures take us next Wednesday. Please do remember you can check out Keeps and Conversations on Mondays. Make sure you join us on our Discord server. And again, thank you to all of you who have followed and subscribed during our session tonight. We appreciate all of you very, very much. We'll see you soon. Cheers.